Finding a server, and it looks like we are live. Okay, groovy. Final checks then. Everybody is in Foundry and can see everything and can access their character sheets.
Yep.
I also confirm that you know where to find the items lists if you look for them. Ooh, that wasn't a good roll at all. Davis, do better from now on.
Got it out my system.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe.
Like I said, does everyone know where to find the items list?
I've opened up weapons. Is it just claws, ram, and unarmed combat we have?
Shouldn't be, so thank you for making sure that that was the case. What is it doing? Oh, create a rollable table. Hey, I should really learn to read things. Okay, I need to change the permissions just so you can see stuff, so that's good to know. I know the Sirenscape has finished playing stuff. So as soon as it kicks into operation again, you guys can tell me whether or not you can hear it. It's being very quiet right now. I don't trust it.
Okay, a bunch more weapons have now appeared.
Yep. And armor too, I hope.
It's always good to have more weapons.
Indeed.
Wait a minute. We're supposed to have armor?
Yeah, I've actually found some more. So the armor isn't always obvious according to the rulebook. I hate to tell you this, Renegade Games, but it wasn't that obvious to start with. And looking through the various NPCs and also the Decepticon directive book gave us a more complete list of armors. So, yeah. So, while we're on the subject of Renegade, maybe I should tie this thing over to the intro sequence. And we will see you folks back in a couple of seconds, so excuse us. Good evening, everybody, and welcome along. I am MJ the GM, and I will be your Games Master for this evening, for this very special evening. For this is Renegade Games Weekend, and those lovely folks at Renegade Game Studios have allowed me to present to you Transformers, the role-playing game today. So, yeehaw! With me are my very special team of players. Say hello, guys.
Hello.
Oh, sorry.
Guys.
Greetings.
Greet you. Let's get into character.
Cool beans.
No
So,
moth on that one.
okie dokie. So, this is us. This is where we find ourselves. So, just as a demonstration of the disparity in sizes, for one, Sean will be playing the part of our special raptor bot called Muldoon, or Mully. We'll be having Davis play the part of our hunter Tex. Andy will be playing the part of our helicopter Autobot Flyby, and the ever so subtle tank Autobot will be played by Gareth. Thank you very much for coming along, guys, and for everyone tuning in right now. So, yes, indeed. Before we start, one or two things that I want to bring to your attention, my players. In that, hopefully you can see at the top middle of the screen are the story points. For whatever reason, this particular implementation of the Essence 20 system on Foundry, for some reason doesn't know to call it story points and instead calls it undefined. Nevertheless, the undefined points are your points to spend. They are your story points. Story points that you can use to do all sorts of funky stuff with. They are a collective pool for you to use as a group, so that when you gain more story points, they go to the group as a whole rather than individuals. Story points allow you to do some pretty cool things, not the least of which is re-roll any die that results in a 1, and you can roll a skill test as if you were specialised in it, among other things. If you want to know further about what they do, I suggest that you move on over to the journal section and have a look at rules. Hopefully you'll be able to see those little points there. You can have a look up on story points and energon points, two point systems that we are going to be using for Transformers. Okay, so with that in mind, let's move things over to your base of operations on Earth, the Ark. So, just to give you an appraisal of the story as to where we are, starting with you guys. The 4 of you represent Autobots who have only recently been reactivated within the Ark having crash-landed into Earth millions of years ago, as far as Earth is concerned. And 4 of you have only been recently brought out of stasis, and have been kind of kept on the sidelines for a little bit whilst you're acclimatizing to your new environment. As such, it's only recently that you have been called up to be briefed by the Autobots Spec Ops Commander, Jazz. So, a few things to note about your characters before we go any further. And I suppose in some ways I should really let the guys do this themselves. So, Sean, do you want to go first and describe to us Muldoon, what he looks like? In both his modes.
Okay, so Muldoon or Mully is in raptor form generally, that's his normal form. So he's like a human-sized velociraptor-ish, maybe slightly bigger. So common-sized. Fully bronze and brown, but tribal markings and paintwork on it. And when he transforms, he basically just leans forward, forms a wheel with his front claws, wheel with his back claws, and the body becomes a chassis of a motorbike. And he's basically like a motocrosser, all-terrain bike.
Nice. Davis, why don't you do the same with Tex? What's his bot mode, chassis, and alt mode look like?
Tex is a humanoid bot. Relatively standard size, leaning to the small. His main distinguishing features is the fact he's never found without his guns, even when they get taken off him. Don't know how that happens. Magic, I suppose. Previously, he's been a bit of a hunter, and he's done quite a bit of bounty hunting, and may have a possibly odd history, but we'll get into that later. In his alternate form, while trying to be a bit sneaky and blend in a bit more with the humans, he's ended up as a Toyota pickup truck in a nice hidden bright orange.
Going for
Not
a subtle
distinctive
approach.
at all.
Nice. That leads us to Andy. Could you please describe to us what Flyby looks like in both modes?
So, Flyby, as the name suggests, is a helicopter. So, most of the time when he's flying, he looks like a police traffic helicopter to blend in and not be standing out as a massive, heavily armed, long-distance assault machine. The rest of the time, looks like a robot.
And
It's not much.
Flyby. Sorry, go on, Andy.
Just going to say, it's not really much other than that to him.
Helicopter Autobots. And finally, we have Battletrack. Gareth, describe to us any of the nuances, if any, of Battletrack's appearance in either form.
Nuance and style are really not Battletrack's forte. In his standard form, he is a very, very bulky, vaguely humanoid robot. But it's quite obvious he is not being built with style, grace, or subtlety. He is basically just like one mass of moving armor. No style when it comes to color. He is just basically various shades of basic machine grey, something that carries over when he goes into his alt form, which is a very, very large tank. But basically, what most people notice immediately about Battletrack is size, and well, that's pretty much it.
Size and more size.
Yeah. When not actually active in any sort of activity, he's generally either sort of going through basic maintenance of weapons or drilling himself in some very basic drills, or just standing to attention as if waiting for orders.
One little stylistic thing I did want to add to Battletrack that came to me not long after we both collaborated to design your character was one of the first weapons that we settled on for Battletrack was this enormous bludgeon.
Yep.
And it occurred to me, if Battletrack's going to be a tank, then when he converts from tank mode to alt mode, then his cannon could pretty much convert to being the handle of this massive hammer kind of thing. So the turret and the cannon, when he transforms from vehicle to bot, could very well convert to be the bludgeon in question.
Sounds good to me. All about efficiency. Battletrack accepts that is an excellent factor for a soldier.
Excellent aim. Okie dokie. Some of you already have weapons, maybe some equipment as well, especially those of you who are qualified in such. As such, you get them without having to requisition. Any standard equipment, blaster, standard blades and bludgeons and that kind of thing, you can get no problem. Anything else outside of those availability restrictions, you will have to try and ask for them. But we will get to all of that after you guys get your first mission briefing, and that will be by Jazz in the main control room of the Ark. Alright, says Jazz. Now I know y'all have been revving at the starter gate waiting for your chance to get involved in our operations here on Earth, so now's your chance. I can only say that we would have brought you guys out of stasis earlier if we'd have actually had the energon to spare. Sadly, after the crash, we've had to ration what we've gotten, so folks have been getting brought online only as and when we've had energon available in order to do so. And that is what actually brings us to the reason why Prime has asked for you to be brought in front of me today. Now, you may or may not be aware that there are very few humans who actually know about our presence here on Earth. And for the moment, Prime wants to keep that a priority. So just in case you haven't already been told, any and every mission that takes place outside, or even if you're going for a joyride outside, are to be conducted under infiltration protocols. Which means that under no circumstances whatsoever, except for dire emergencies, are you to allow yourself to be seen outside of your alt mode. This actually brings up a rather pressing point that I'm rather pained to have to remind folks of this, but it seems one or two Autobots have forgotten to actually read some of the info on the humans and their technological capabilities, and it saddens me to say that humans, as I am continually having to remind certain Autobots, who will remain unnamed for the moment. He doesn't actually look at any of you, but does cast a couple of glances over his shoulder at some passing Autobots, some of whom are just there like, yeah. Nevertheless, humans do not have the capability as of yet to have developed stealth-driving vehicles. So whenever you are out and about, you are to assume your holographic pilots every time. Humans expect to see humans piloting vehicles, so let's keep up this pretense for as long as we can. So, getting back to the idea of humans and energon, As it so happens, there are one or two humans that we have developed relationships with. One of those is a human female by the name of Astoria Carlton Ritz. Now, as luck would have it, she's not only an ally of the Autobots, but she's also the CEO of a corporation called Hybrid Technologies. Hybrid Tech make it their point of looking into alternative sources of energy. And ever since Miss Carlton Ritz became a friend of ours, she has in fact been redoubling her company's goal to search for renewable, clean, cheap energy for not just humankind, but also Cybertronian kind. This leads me on to a mission that Prime has wanted me to give out to you guys. Recently, Miss Carlton Ritz sent us a message. That message was that one of her research facilities out in the area known as Arizona has recently gone silent. She has spent the last week or so trying to get in contact with anybody from that facility to no avail. Now, ordinarily this kind of thing wouldn't be our problem. But, historically, Miss Carlton Ritz has allowed the Autobots to create some of our instantaneous travel warp gates, part of what we call Autobot Road, next to many of her facilities. One of those warp gates closest to the facility in question has been shut down, either by accident or design. It's a little difficult to tell at this juncture, but that was enough to get Optimus Prime's attention, and therefore mine. Your mission, my brethren, is to travel to the nearest warp gate to Arizona and then proceed under infiltration protocols to gain access to this facility in Arizona and find out what is going on. Of course, this raises one very obvious problem with this mission. And it's at this point that Jazz looks Battletrack and Flyby up and down, very obviously. There's something of what you might call a size disparity between what the humans are able to accommodate and what they are not. Optimus Prime and myself are very aware of the fact that Battletrack and Flyby here are way bigger than can actually fit comfortably into this facility and still engage in infiltration. However, rather than split your team up and have 2 outside and 2 inside, our resident cogwheel, Wheeljack, has managed to come up with a slightly less crazy invention to allow 2 of y'all to actually infiltrate the facility. So, if you'd like to accompany me to our tech room and armory, I can show these bits of kit off. You don't need to travel far into the interior of the Ark to know where he's talking about. There is a great walled and open room that has been repurposed for the most part as the armory of the Autobots. They keep the majority of their weapons and equipment in here because at the moment their supplies are somewhat limited in what has been able to be either recovered, repaired, or scrounged out of various spare parts that could be scrounged up. So as a rule, the armory is the property of everybody. And behind a desk with just rows upon rows of weapons arrayed in shelves behind him is a red car Autobot, Cliffjumper. Cliffjumper here, introduces Jazz, is our resident quartermaster, so if there are any pieces of weaponry or equipment that you need to be requisitioned, you will have to approach him. Now, just because you may have a nice shiny sheen to your chassis doesn't necessarily mean that Cliffjumper is going to give you any and all equipment that you require. You need to be able to prove that you are able to wield this weaponry or these devices in order that you're able to properly use them and bring them back in one piece. So in the end, it's up to Cliffjumper whether or not you get that piece of technology that you think would look really cool in your hands. Nevertheless, the piece of tech that we are talking about will be this. Jazz reaches in behind one of the shelves and brings out this oddly spherical device that's actually ringed by... it almost looks like the matrix of leadership if the handles had been turned horizontally. Almost like a miniature planet with a ring around it. But the ring, rather than being circular, is very elliptical. Wheeljack calls these ropes. Remote hologram projection emitters. These ropes will allow our two largest members of your team to be able to project the images of their hologrammatic pilots remotely, therefore allowing you to give at least the illusion of being a human being walking into this facility that we are going to be sending you to. This does mean that you will not have much of a physical presence while using the rope system in order to gain access to this facility, and it also comes with another downside. This rope system requires so much processing by your central processor that you will not be able to be fully conscious of your physical body's surroundings while you're processing the inputs of the rope device. So basically, make sure you park your actual chassis somewhere safe that's not likely to get either towed or scrapped. Otherwise, you won't know until it's too late. As for our two slightly regular-sized brethren, we have these little devices by Wheeljack. And he holds up these little boxes that look like they magnetically clip onto some part of either Tex or Mully's chassis. These are basic holo projection screens. These will, in a similar fashion to the rope systems, allow a holographic projection of your false hologram pilots. These will be overlaid on top of your regular chassis, so you will appear to all intents and purposes to be whatever your pilot appears to be, and you will actually be able to physically interact with the environment. Now, these two systems do come with a bit of a proviso. They are energon heavy. So your ability to use your internal stores of energon for anything other than powering this hologrammatic or rope system, well, are going to be practically non-existent. So don't try and get into any scuffles or anything that's going to be needing energon to be let off until you have divested yourself of these hologrammatic devices. I hope that's clear enough. So, with that mission profile in mind, are there any questions? I will take that stony silence for a no, not really, Jazz. Okay, excellent. Now, we have one or two pieces of equipment.
Ain't no problems with us, neighbour.
What was that, Davis?
Ain't no problems we've got, neighbour.
Alright, like the attitude. Now, there are one or two bits of equipment that we can give you that will aid you in what you might be facing. So I will direct your attention to the hits area of the item directory. Cliffjumper, tell them what they've won. Alright, says Cliffjumper wearily as he reaches behind the counter in order to produce a number of bits of equipment. Alright, since we're looking at you gaining entry into a human-run facility, one of the things you're probably going to want is a way of actually getting past their security systems. So we've given you a limited kit that will allow you to try and bypass locking mechanisms. Therefore, we are gifting one or some of you a limited burglary kit. Likewise, we don't know what kind of internal security that facility's going to have, so we're going to gift one of you a computer's kit that will allow you to attempt to gain access to any locked computer system that these humans have available to you. Likewise, on the off chance some of the less, shall we say, inconspicuous members of your team are having trouble keeping their infiltration secret, we also have a very limited stealth kit available to you in order to make sure that you have some help in that regard. It won't keep you invisible, but it might at least help you stay off their radar. And finally, because we don't know who's actually behind this, we're going to issue you a standard repair kit just in case one of y'all gets a dent in your fender. Other than that, you feel free to requisition whatever you think you can handle, but I get final say. So, with that in mind, are there any particular pieces of equipment, armor, or support equipment that you think you might want to take with you? Bearing in mind that each of you is able to hold at any particular point in time, at the very least in your bot mode, 6 hands worth of equipment. So those of you who have already got equipment, like for instance Tex here, obviously RAM in gear is not an actual piece of equipment, that is just an ability that you gain as a vehicle to ram. However, something like Tex's...
We'll use it.
Indeed. And likewise, unarmed combat doesn't count because they are using your actual hands to do damage, so they do not count to the number of hands worth of equipment that you are limited to. But something like the long-range rifle requires 2 hands to use, therefore it counts as taking up 2 hands worth of equipment slots on your body, to which you are limited to 6. Now, as has been noted, you do also, excuse me, those are considered external hardpoints, 6 hands worth of places on your chassis where you can just either maglock or holster certain pieces of equipment like weapons. However, you do have, on average, 2 pieces of internal hardpoints that you can, excuse me, allocate equipment to. And I'm having a real problem with my throat at the moment, so excuse me.
I'm going to ask the usual question that I ask every GM, and I'm hoping to get the usual answer. Can I have grenades?
Yes, you can.
Wow, that's not the usual answer.
If you look in standard weapons, so if you look in weapons, standard weapons, included in the list are frag grenades, concussion grenades, even high-X. And each grenade takes up a hand's worth of space. So bearing that in mind, when you want to load yourself up with stuff from the standard weapons lot, you can. No requisition needed. But you are limited in the amount of hardpoints that you can keep, as I've just stated, probably numerous, too many times. Internal hardpoints, as I have noted to those who thought about it, are useful for those who want inbuilt weapons that can be displayed during their vehicle modes. So you can pop a weapon into an internal hardpoint so that when you do convert to vehicle mode, you can always pop those weapons out of a hidden compartment in order to use them in vehicle mode. Otherwise, when you convert from bot to vehicle, the stashed 6 hands worth of gear just becomes part of your vehicle mode and is unretrievable until you change back to bot mode. That's at least my understanding of it, and that's what we're going to go with for the time being. Some of you already have a number of things already on your character sheets, so if you want to have a quick look through the equipment lists to make sure that there aren't any more things you want to try and requisition. When you want to try and requisition anything that's non-standard, do let me know, because then we're going to have to make a requisition test. That was a lot of information I just threw at you.
First thing Battletrack will want is extra armor in case of combat. Let's have a look. You are trained in limited and restricted armor upgrades. Currently have. Am I right in thinking one of these are? I know the armors say they have to be in one of your integrated hard points, and you can only actually. Is it only 1 armor matrix, or does that include sort of like these things like jump plate, pit plate, titan frame, and stuff?
So you can basically only choose one armor type to wear.
Cool.
You can't
Can I
stack them.
attempt? Yeah. Can I try for a Titan frame? I
Oh,
am
blimey.
huge, which is the prerequisite.
Indeedly doodah. So let me see. This is going to be more than likely a toughness test, and it's probably going to be in the realm of 15 to 20. So
How do I roll toughness?
let's have a look. Toughness is a defense, isn't it? So it's not going to be that as much as it's probably going to be. Let's say brawn is usually used for how much you can lift things. For it's probably going to be a brawn test. I'm going to say.
Okay.
If folks on chat want to prove me wrong, then feel free to do so. 21. Snagged.
Oh, so I'm glad that I got it here because I remember all my rolls in character generation were awful.
They were indeed. So you got Titan.
Excellent.
You got Titan frame plate, which makes sense because Battletrack is absolutely freaking-enormous.
Oop. I need to. How do I edit this?
Okay. Anybody else got any stuff they want to do?
Titan
Now,
frame.
bearing in mind, you're going to have to keep some hands worth of slots free because you have got these kits that you have been gifted. However, I do also know that Battletrack has got extra hard points, extra hands worth of gear that he can.
I got 12
handle,
hands
so.
worth of gear. That's it. Maybe this will work. It's 83.
So everybody doing all right
should I
so
be able
far?
to- yeah. So
Yep.
I'm just trying to see. Can you drag in the thing into your character sheet in this one, or is this?
Alrighty. New armor, and you want Titan frame. So yeah,
Oh,
delete new armor. I'll drag it in for you.
Okay.
Whoop. Sometimes needs more than one attempt. Not doing it. What's going on here? Armor bonus is 4 to toughness. Huge or larger bot. Well, you are. What is going on here? Alright, we'll just do this the manual way then. Oh yeah, it is different. They haven't statted it the same. Toughness goes up by 4. This is not standard armor. It is restricted. It is definitely not light armor. It is heavy. So that's what I get from bringing things from the compendium.
Battletrack likes his armor heavy and thick, deflects more blasts.
Useful to know that that didn't quite work. Okay. Anybody else? Or has everybody gotten all the pieces of equipment they want?
Should my toughness have gone up, or have I misread that? Because this doesn't seem to be registering an armor bonus.
I haven't. The button hasn't been equipped. There we are.
Oh, right, I see. Oh, there it is. Thank you.
Biffy.
Do we need to pay? Does support gear count as a hand's worth of gear?
Support equipment. That's stuff that usually gets added on to your mode rather than being hands worth of equipment. So you can see them as almost upgrades. It usually tells you if you're allowed support equipment, mind you. Was there anything you had in mind?
Tow cable.
Tow cable. So where are we? Alterations, gear. Tow cable and hook. There we go.
Oh.
Anybody else?
Looking through various weapons. Actually, do I have?
Andy, how are you doing?
I think I'm alright.
Yeah.
Don't think I need anything else.
And I'm combat, ram, close combat, bludgeon, a shotgun, a machine gun. The shotgun and machine gun can be flipped between both, which means you have used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hands worth of equipment, so you are good. Now, I do remember us talking about throwing your machine gun into one of your integrated hardpoints so that you could use it whilst in helicopter form if you wanted to, so that's fine.
Sounds like a good plan to me.
Sean, you got everything you think you might want, or are you still looking through stuff?
No, I think I've got everything. I haven't picked the kits up yet, though.
Cool, because the kits are going to be shared amongst you all, so it's going to be a case of who wants them and who's got space available for them. So, I mean, we all know Battletrack has got the space for them, but it's...
But I can't use any of them. Can I get a caterpillar tread? Purely because it makes sense for me being a tank.
Yeah. And a caterpillar tread allows us to gain an edge on driving skill tests while navigating rough terrain, or when shoving, you count as a size larger than you are, as if you needed to be.
Well, you never know, we might fight Unicorn.
I was in no way prepared to do an Orson Welles tonight, I'll have you know that very, very quick. Obviously, I'm not trying hard enough. Alright. Are we good?
Just checking. I know I got rocket launcher. I'm looking at possibly getting a backup weapon for either something that's not quite that area effective or for a different situation.
Well, there's always a standard blaster. Simple to the point.
Yeah, says requirements athletics. Do I have athletics?
That's a very good point.
I
don't. you need to be able to actually aim this thing to be able to shoot it. Blaster requires athletics. No, it doesn't. That's empty. When you see that, that's just default.
Oh, okay then.
So you are good. You are good. There are no requirements on the blaster.
Okay, I'll take the blaster as a backup weapon in that case. Just seeing if there's like any convenient energy weapons that I can try and requisition just in case we come across something that's resistant to the more conventional damage.
Whilst you're doing that, I will say for Tex and Muldoon, how many hands free do they have now remaining? I think, was it 1 for Tex or 2 for Tex?
I think I've got 2 free. I should probably take a hidden second rifle, but that doesn't use a hand until I use it.
Well, whilst transforming, you can stow your long rifle in your hard point, so... If you
no
want
idea what you're on about. I've always got a rifle.
Exactly. So it's either in your in your hands, your mitts, your hard point, and when you transform, you can stow it into your integrated hard point. Nevertheless, Sean, how many hands worth of gear does Mully have remaining?
4, I think. 2 external.
So you have space for all the kits, and Tex has space for 1 or 2 more. So that's not bad. The 2 of you that are going to be able to physically infiltrate the place and not have to use this hologram system can probably divvy up the kits between you. So, I mean, Muldoon makes sense to have the limited burglary kit.
I love stealing.
I love stealing. I love taking things. Where does that go if I throw this on here? It goes in gear. Cool. Yes, Gareth.
Can I also take a laser rifle for a different damage type in case that's needed?
Laser rifle is where, sorry? It sounds like
it's a standard weapon.
It's standard, okay.
Yep.
I'll look at weapon effects. Yeah, so there's no requirement on that. It is computerized, which is interesting. Let's have a look, shall we? So certain weapons and mostly weapons, but some gear as well have certain traits. For instance, if it says computerized, it means that it contains a non-sentient processing unit that needs to be rebooted as a move action if it's successfully hit with an electromagnetic effect. So basically the weapon is so complex that it has its own little computer system to regulate its function. As a result, the weapon itself is susceptible to things like electromagnetic bursts and stuff like that, and might get knocked out if it's subject to such.
It's a backup weapon, so...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So Ultra Magnus says, always have a backup type of damage in case they're resistant to your primary type. And also always have at least one weapon that will target individuals and not areas.
So, back to the question of who gets the remaining kits. I mean, we could pretty much load up Mully with most of them.
That works.
How many free now?
3.
So you could take pretty much all the kits,
Yeah.
which gives Tex enough space to put another gun in.
Guns. Lots of guns.
You can never have too many guns.
Yeah. Does
You should
armor
both
take
of
up a hand as well?
Thankfully, no, because it's loaded
Okay.
into your chassis. So
So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've got five hands, which means I have 7 hands worth of gear left.
the difficulty here being that you're not going to be able to use your hands of gear in order to use them whilst infiltrating the facility. So it's probably best if Muldoon hangs onto them for now, so that they can actually be used while you're in the facility. But it's nice to know that you have that much space remaining to stash stuff if you find any more things.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not thinking that I'm the best person for the kits. I'm just thinking if we decide that there's any sort of more equipment or like maybe a weapon stash we feel need to take, I can take that, and then it can be divvied out as and when we need it.
Okay, do we think we're ready?
So.
Yes.
The only other thing I can think of are possibly taking a cage as well in case we need to take like a small Decepticon infiltrator prisoner. What do people think?
Could be fun.
Okay, I'll requisition a cage for my form then in that case.
Can I get you to give me another brawn test, please? Because this is quite a cumbersome item.
Okay.
Not that I'm expecting anything but success here, but we never know. Look at that.
Did you need me to roll? Sorry.
Go on.
Did I need to roll anything for the machine gun?
What type of weapon is it? It's a ballistic weapon, isn't it?
Ballistic restricted. Actually, never mind. I'll grab a shotgun.
Well, no, if you notice, you are qualified in standard and limited ballistic weapons, so...
That's a limited.
The machine gun, if I recall, is limited, so you are qualified, therefore you automatically get it.
Awesome.
Is there anything qualified in might weapons?
Yeah, so the big, heavy bludgeons and two-handed melee weapons, basically.
Yeah.
Or the whacking great big artillery pieces that, like shoulder-mounted rocket launchers and that kind of thing. Anything that needs someone big and brawny to use. The cage to be hung from the turret. Well, I rather picture it to be something like, if you find on tanks, there's usually like almost like webbing on the back where the tank's crew usually stow stuff like the camo net to put over a tank in order to hide it if it ever has to stop, things like that. So I almost picture it to be like a roll-out compartment where the back where the cage is. So you never know, might be handy. Right, do we now think we are ready?
Yes.
Excellent. In that case, Jazz salutes you and goes, "Good luck on your mission, Autobots. Time to roll out."
Yeehaw!
Battletrack transforms into his tank mode and activates his holopilot. Not sure if his holopilot can actually be seen from the outside while he's in his tank, but he still does it because those were his orders.
Now, this brings me on to a very humorous and interesting thing for me. What do your holopilots look like? So let's start with, well, Sean, because he's chuckling. What does your holopilot look like, Sean?
I think Jeff Goldblum. It's got to be Jeff Goldblum. So, like, in the classic black shirt, sunglasses, like open shirt and everything post.
So basically, Muldoon has passed a poster for Jurassic Park.
Yep.
Noticed there was a raptor in it somewhere and went, "Ooh, I'll have that." Bing!
That's clearly a human thing, common.
So, humans associated with raptors are Jeff Goldblum. Okay. Which could make things interesting. Davis, what's Tex's driver look like?
Effectively Dean Winchester in a cowboy hat.
Now, somebody
So you're
that looks
joking.
almost like Dean Winchester, or actually Dean Winchester in a cowboy hat? Now, bearing in
Almost
mind,
like enough different to not be confused for him in an autograph signing.
We're all just going to get stuff, right, for autographs.
so rather than taking place in the mid-80s, we've actually fast-forwarded to now the mid-90s, but hey, I'm flexible. Andy, Flyby's pilot. I mean, you're a police traffic copter, so...
Yeah, what was it? Robert Patrick's T-1000.
All of you guys have basically spent your time, rather than researching the humans, you've been watching movies and assuming this is what humans do.
We've been watching the educational documentaries that were provided.
Exactly.
See, that's not what Battletrack has done.
Go on.
Well, Battletrack's started looking at, being old, need to fit in, base generic soldier terms, came across the concept of Tommy Atkins, and based his hologram on the first picture he found of a soldier called Tommy Atkins, which is a young-looking soldier in a First World War British uniform with a kind of rounded metal helmet on him, probably told by one of the Autobots, edit out the dull.
Okay.
So
I will bear that in mind.
So basically, he looks like that, but with no doll, and probably told I'll not make it black and white either.
Yeah. Extrapolate from historical records what the colour might actually be. Because if you went round as actually black and white, that would be so funny.
No, I imagine the first time he produced it, it was an actual black and white of that person with the doll, and probably someone like Jazz or something said, get rid of the doll and research what the colours of his skin and helmet and clothes probably were.
So
Yes.
First time he got rid of the army soldier as well, was just stuff.
Oh, me, oh my. Alright then. Okay. So, Jazz informs you that Miss Carlton Ritz, who is the CEO, has made an appointment for you guys. Your cover is basically you are inspectors. So that should be, she hopes, enough to allow you to gain access to the laboratories and have a good old snoop around. But she doesn't know for sure because they've even been apparently ignoring even her messages going to them. So she doesn't know what kind of reception you will be getting. So out we go into... well, onto the road. And off you go in your alt modes, trundling along. Now, this collection of pickup truck, a bike, fine. A police helicopter, okay, traffic monitoring, and then this gigantic rumbling tank. The tank at least does turn heads, but the advantage you've got here is that America's a big place, and they do move troops about on the roads a good deal. Usually tanks are in the back of these gigantic haulers rather than ripping up the roads that they travel over, but in this case Battletracks, well, tracks are not the type that can rip up the roads so easily, so you have got that going for you. The good news also for you is that you are able to use the Autobot roads warp tunnels to get as close as you can to the facility so that you don't have to travel too far for hours and hours and hours on the roads. You do have to travel a short amount of distance for the better part of 40 minutes or so to get there, but the roads are thankfully rather scarce of other drivers due to the establishment, due to the labs, I should say, being a little further out from the nearby population centres. Downloading sound file, generic human placation.sound. Carry on your business, there is no danger here, go about your ordinary human lives. You guys are infiltration specialists, I can tell. And in that regard, the couple of cars that do go past you, or do pass you, to speed past you, when they look in the driver's seat, a couple of them do double takes as they go past you.
Not to me specifically.
Not to you specifically, because, tank. And the pilot for the tank is in
their convoy. Who forgot their rider and their crew?
However,
is in position.
However, seeing Jeff Goldblum on a bike does turn a few heads.
Life finds a way.
Just having me waving inconspicuously as well. I'm trying to think that's the ending, and it's really not.
Eventually, you do come across your intended destination. There is a ground floor facility that is not all that big. It's got an outside. It's like I said, a single story kind of squat building. Very little in the way of ostentation, although it can be considered what at that time was more of a modern construction, whatever that means for the 90s. The most notable part about it is that there is a car park, and there is a chain link fence surrounding it, and there's the regular security checkpoint where they have a barrier that lifts or drops according to whether or not the security guard lets you through. The security guard greets the first one at the gate, which is Jeff Goldblum on a bike. And the security guard leans out and says, "Welcome to Hybrid Technologies. Do you have an appointment?" And he's just staring flatly at Jeff Goldblum on a bike.
Yes, we're here as inspectors on behalf of... can't remember her name.
Storia Carlton Ritz, that's fine, that's what I'm here for. It's very easy, it's 3 different types of hotels.
I still never remember it.
That's fine, that's what I'm here for, like I said. So, yes, the security guard, again, blankly, with very little expression on his face, looks past Muldoon and sees Tex in his pickup mode, sees the gigantic tank. Also notices there's a helicopter just hovering above you all, creating a downdraft. At which point he goes, "Welcome to Hybrid Technologies. Have a nice day," and lifts the barricade. At which point you are able to roll in. You notice there are other cars of various makes. A couple of them scattered roughshod here and there about the car park are pretty sleek black and purple models. Otherwise, the rest are what could be considered for the times fairly standard models. A couple of them are obviously people carriers, suggesting that the humans have got families. Others are slightly more ostentatious displays of wealth. As you can imagine, apparently here on Earth, smart people do tend to get paid more than not so smart people, and therefore can afford more expensive cars. So there's a smattering. Thankfully, there appears to be a helipad on the roof for Flyby to land on. And there is kind of like a fire escape type metal staircase that then goes from the heliport on the roof down to the parking lot. The entrance to the labs is rather obvious. It's the glass-fronted wall that has the entrance doors to it. So, without any further ado, unless there's anything specific you'd like to do as you park, it's time for two of you to transform into your bot modes and activate your holographic disguises, and for the other two to activate their rope drones. Now, ordinarily, I would make my best attempt at doing the transforming sound effect. However, my noise cancellation software edits it out, and I can't actually play the transforming sound effect because it's copyrighted. So you'll just have to imagine it yourselves, I'm afraid.
Transformer sound.
It's especially
Robot
big
sound.
and drawn out if and when Battletrack does it, but for this instance Battletrack doesn't. He just deploys.
As per Jazz's orders, Battletrack finds an inconspicuous place, or as inconspicuous place as he can find for his tank form.
Right in the middle of the parking lot.
So, needless to say, whacking Great Big Tank takes up several car parking spaces.
Yep.
But not half as bad as the guy who owns the Porsche, who's parked across two spaces anyway.
I shall point the gun at that Porsche just in case it later turns out it's a Decepticon.
It's this bright, glaring red thing, so you never know, it might be.
To aid in Battletrack's camouflage, we've put in a little sign on the front. Parking regulations enforced by tank.
Battletrack is actually more suspicious of those black and purple cars because black and purple is a sinister colour scheme.
Nevertheless, you are now able to... Sorry, I talked over somebody there.
Oh.
Nevertheless, you're now able to enter into the facility if you wish to.
Yep. I shall send Tommy Atkins in.
So this is unusual for Flyby and Battletrack. I mean, it's not exactly unusual for Tex and Muldoon because even when you transform, you can transform in the shadow of Battletrack. So, you know, kind of park behind him so you're out of everybody's view, so you can then transform and assume your hologrammatic disguises. But for Flyby and Battletrack, all of a sudden you're perceiving things from human level. And this is kind of disconcerting. You're used to everything being small. And now all of a sudden you're very, very conscious of what it must be like for the humans. And it's like, wow, everything is so big and broad and spacious.
Tommy Atkins is uncertain how the humans can live without the leverage and might needed to heft their rocket launchers.
So whether or not either of you get agoraphobia from this is something we shall explore later on. But for the meantime, you have a mission. So let us move you over to the labs. So as soon as you enter into the labs, you notice there is a receptionist behind the desk. There are several doors along either side of the main reception corridor. There are some plants either side of the entrance, just for, well, ambience, I suppose. And there are a couple of notice boards scattered along the length of the interior. the receptionist, who was just sat there in front of her computer doing, well, you're not sure what, but whatever it was, her hands were perfectly still and she was just facing straight forward, staring at the screen until you guys walk in. At which point she regards you, stands up from behind the desk, crosses over, and says, "Welcome to Hybrid Technologies. I'm sorry, we are not taking visitors right now. Please come back another time. Thank you for visiting." What would you like to do? With you all just standing there silently, the receptionist continues.
Right.
Go on.
Gives Molly a look. Your turn or mine?
Greetings, fellow humans. We've been sent here to inspect the facility. I believe we were expected.
The receptionist blinks a couple of times. "I'm sorry, we are not taking visitors right now. Please come back another time. Thank you for visiting."
Hi, neighbour. I don't think you're getting the gist of what my friend was saying. Y'all don't usually expect an inspection. You are taking visitors, honey.
"I'm sorry, we are not able to accommodate visitors at this point in time. Your continued presence in this facility has caused me to alert security. Please stand by while they escort you from the premises." She walks back to her desk and begins to punch in the number on the phone next to her desk. "Security, please, to main reception area." At which point, from out of a nearby door comes a guard. "Greetings, I am with security. Please cooperate while you are escorted from the premises."
Government inspection. Go get your boss.
"Hello, I am from security. Please comply as you are escorted from the premises."
Can I attempt to scan them?
Sure, give me an alertness check.
Alertness.
Ooh, hello, very good. Let me have a look at stuff a moment. Okay. Something has just occurred to Muldoon now that he looks at both the receptionist, who's there just sitting at her desk doing nothing with her hands just hovering over the keyboard. You notice that under just about under her right ear there looks to be some kind of device kind of jammed in there, and now that you look at the security guard you notice he's got one too.
Do we know what type of device?
Not immediately obvious, but it's definitely you would reckon it's some kind of implant, and it looks like it's been wired directly into their head, somehow.
Does it look easily removable?
Yeah.
You're not sure. I mean, it's very close to their brain, so trying to remove something like that from somebody's brain without a complex surgical procedure when you don't know what you're doing, it's likely going to be rather difficult and potentially harmful. However, I will allow... Let me think. Who here has got ranks in culture? I don't think any of you do you?
Nope.
I will allow you all to make a culture test. Now, having no ranks in a skill means that you will roll the skill with a snag, which means you'll be rolling... It'll automatically do it. It'll be rolling 2 dice and taking the lowest. But let's see what happens. Everybody roll culture. Ooh. 4 from Tex, so not a clue.
Humans always have implants.
9 from Molly, so that's a bit better. 9 from Battletrack. Andy, you're the last one. Give culture a go. Do you know where to find it?
I know where it is. Just type in 1, yeah?
So, under smarts, second one down is culture. Next to culture, you want to press the dice.
Yeah.
Okay, 4, 9, 9, and 4. Excuse me. So the two of you who got 9s, you've at least watched enough of the, what did you call them? Documentaries?
Yeah.
To at least form the opinion that humans are usually a little more animated than this. And these two, so far, have been acting anything but animated, almost animatronic. Not suggesting they are actually animatronic, but they are certainly not acting like you expected humans to act. So, in a rather ironic twist of events, it seems that in order to infiltrate this place, rather than robots pretending to be humans, you might have to be robots pretending to be humans, pretending to act like robots. Actually, as the security guard is now coming towards you with, like a baton drawn.
Let me speak to your supervisor.
At which point the security guard stops and goes, please, excuse me a second, please hold still for visual inspection for implant. It looks like he's going to look behind your right ear, your hologram's right ear, to see if there's an implant.
Can I adjust the hologram so there's an implant?
Absolutely you can. As soon as he gets behind you and has a look behind your ear, without actually touching you...
I lift my hat up
Daisy.
slightly and it's more visible.
Yeah. Visual confirmation verified. You are a drone. All drones are to report to the main lab. Please proceed there immediately. Apparently satisfied with this, the security guard goes back into the office and closes the door. The receptionist continues to just simply stare ahead at her computer.
You heard him, drones. Follow me.
So, there are a number of doors either side of you. You know where that one leads to at least, so you can continue to have a look around if you wish. There are internal security cameras that you catch on the walls here and thereabouts, but you've still got your hologrammatic covers for the moment, so as long as you're acting inconspicuous, you should be okay. Andy, you're being left behind a bit.
Sorry. My statty things.
Ah. What can I do? Okay, so Tex opens up one door and sees a lab. A smaller lab, it seems, but one that there's definitely seems to be equipment and active computers processing data. No humans, however, appear to be present inside. Feel free, if you wish to give me a technology test if you have any ranks in technology. Otherwise, you're just going to be guessing.
Can't shoot it. Must be fun.
In a similar fashion... Go on, sorry, Andy.
Can't shoot. Shoot.
So, yes, Tex comes out of that one complaining about not being able to shoot stuff. Muldoon opens that door and finds a similar, what looks like 3 desks with computers on them, but also other fabricated technology elements in there.
Is
but no
that
humans.
like a window we're supposed to be able to see through?
Sure.
Because where I am, I can see a human, and I
Yes,
wasn't sure if I was
indeed.
supposed to.
A man who looks like he is a middle-aged human with greying hair and glasses is sitting at a desk, typing away furiously. He seems to be quite stressed.
Can we see if he's got an implant from here?
From here it's a bit difficult because the right side of his head is facing towards the opposing wall. You do notice there is a security guard up to your northwest.
Yeah, where I am, I've just seen something that Battletrack would immediately sort of identify. Well, not identify, but be alarmed at.
Yes, indeed. Staring through the windows of a larger mechanical space, as in there's a larger space in here filled with various machines. A couple of humans are seen to be walking about, but there's also a very tall bipolar figure. Bipolar? He's got issues, man. No, pardon me. Apologies for all those who do suffer from bipolar disorder. It's no laughing matter. A bipedal creature, which looks like a Decepticon.
Yeah. Then the others are seen that kind of as subtly as Battletrack can, which isn't very subtly, kind of prod them and just indicate with his head what he's looking at.
Whilst Muldoon was... Does Muldoon have any ranks in technology at all, Sean?
Nope.
Okay. So he was basically using that way as a surreptitious means of getting into the same room as the scientist, yes?
Yes, hopefully not as on camera as the other one.
Alrighty, being very stealthy about it. The others are basically frozen. Meanwhile, the security guard up this way, I'll get to Muldoon in just a sec, kind of slowly turns his head and says, all drones should be reporting to the main laboratory.
Do we know which way the main laboratory is?
It looks like that at the moment the labs you've passed on either side of you are smaller ones, so your guess is that the bigger space must be the main laboratory.
Fair enough.
Does Battletrack see through the window that Muldoon has got into this room?
You can try, I suppose.
Which more, if I've noticed here and there, Battletrack's was probably to go there so that if something is about to kick off with Decepticons, Muldoon may be able to work in the shadows while Battletrack is a distraction, given that on the battlefield, Battletrack tends to be quite a distraction. And the fact that he's now small in holographic form isn't 100% properly kicking in the way he thinks.
Alright, so... Yep.
You don't have weapons in hologrammatic form.
Now, Battletrack can also make out, and I think Flyby may have, I'm not entirely certain, but Battletrack definitely. Yeah. There's another Cybertronian within that main laboratory area, but this one is proportioned somewhat different, just as large as a regular, I say regular, he's large, so on the kind of mid-scale of Cybertronians, but rather than having a bipedal form, he's quadrupedal, but also still has like a humanoid upper body, and he's just clanking around on 4 legs. And every now and then, it's Battletrack's alertness. D2?
He has D2?
No, I'll give you this for free, it's fine.
Okay.
As Battletrack is quietly watching this go on, this 4-legged Cybertronian, whenever it passes one of the humans, occasionally he looks down at it and his multitude of eyes flash as if some kind of burst transmission of light, at which point one of the scientists then seems to move off and do a different task. Meanwhile, Muldoon. How quietly is Muldoon entering into this facility? Into this room, rather.
He'd try to be sneaky.
Give me an infiltration test then, please. Okay. Versus... versus... Let's go with this. Alright. So just as Flyby and Battletrack are trying to figure out what they're going to do next, and Tex is there going, oh god, what's going to happen next? Muldoon quietly closes the door, but it does go chunk. At which point the scientist in the chair spins around in the chair and goes, oh! Please! I've still got some time. I really need to find the error in this code. Wait a minute. I don't recognize you. How did you get in here? You're not one of them, are you?
Greetings, fellow human. Inspection time.
I'm sorry, what? What? Inspection? What? Are you?
Oh, listen. Yes.
Are you with them?
Yes.
Oh god.
It looks like Muldoon's causing
Yeah. Now, bearing in mind,
Battletrack
Battletrack, Flyby, and Tex would have heard the yelp from the scientist. Yo, who are you? At which point,
Howdy,
the security
neighbour.
guard. I'll get to you guys in just a sec, but the security guard closest to Flyby and Battletrack goes, Dr. Carlyle is in need of some assistance. Drones, please investigate.
Acknowledged. And I'll start walking in the direction that the guard looked at when the cry that we heard happened, which I
Yep.
assume is in the direction of the cry.
Yes, indeed. Yo, more! Wait, did you say howdy, neighbor? You're not talking like them. You're not with them, are you? Who are you? How
We
did
are
you
here
get
to
here?
we are here to render assistance.
Oh, you are with them. I'm really confused now.
Battletrack's attempt to pretend to be a drone isn't hugely different from Battletrack just talking.
Look, you have to
Let's
tell your leader that I have to get this piece of code correct, otherwise the whole machine could just... well, it could be catastrophic. I need to finish the code. Please.
Which
What doesn't-
leader are you talking about?
What's that machine set to do?
Wait, if you're with them, you'd know this.
Yes, we definitely know this. We're here to inspect.
You need to make sure you know what it does.
He looks you all up and down. Okay.
Tex is
getting the
smoking
very-
us at this point.
I'm getting the very distinct feeling that you are definitely not with these guys.
Let's just say we might be your rescue team, but we need a bit of context.
Okay. If I were to say the name Astoria Carlton Ritz, what would that mean to you?
It would mean you know the person who's signing my paycheck.
Oh, thank God. She got the... well, my lack of messages. Whew. I knew this would happen sooner or later. I just hoped that she'd send some assistance. Okay. Okay. You are from Astoria. Astoria sent you then, I take it.
Yeah.
Sent here to render assistance.
I'm still not sure if he isn't one of these drone people, but there we go.
He got well briefed, and he sticks to his brief.
I see. Okay. Okay.
Lack of imagination, you see.
Well, then I'm
Undisciplined thinking can make even the simplest task impossible.
Not with Jetfire says.
It is
in
what
that case, I'm going to tell you something that's going to blow your mind. Okay, so you might want to
He's
brace
attacking.
yourselves. Okay. There are aliens here on planet Earth. And they are sentient robots.
And not just your receptionist?
No, she's being mind controlled by that four-legged thing in there, Drone Master.
Do I know any of these names?
Yeah. Being an ex-Decepticon, Drone Master
No
was one
comment.
of these low to mid-tier Decepticon guys. The thing you have to understand about Decepticon hierarchy is that there were a lot of groups, a lot of cliques. So there was Megatron and his inner circle, and everyone else were kind of split off into groups as to what kind of thing they could do. So all the jets and the guys, the Decepticons capable of alt form flight, were kind of grouped off in one section and called Seekers. So, and then you had the Senior Seekers, the Scout Seekers, the Rookie Seekers, and pretty much all the groups were kind of broken up into that. So, but there was also like a pecking order to these guys. So, Drone Master was a name that was bandied about, where it was suggested that Drone Master was either the one who originally created this rather sinister form of mind control that had been developed by certain Decepticons, most notably the Insecticon Barrage, I want to say, where they created an implantable means of controlling people called Cerebro Shells.
Thinking of Bombshell, Matt.
I'm thinking of Bombshell, thank you, not Barrage. Thank you, Gareth.
Sorry, I've been sitting on Bombshell since the implant thing came into being.
So, Drone Master is one of the rumor had it that Drone Master was either the one that Bombshell got Cerebro Shells from, or the other way around. But Drone Master was always one of those sneaky mid-tier guys who liked other people to do his work for him. But as the name suggests, he liked to mind control underlings. Fancied himself a spy master, was looking at climbing the ranks by being better than Soundwave, which was utterly preposterous because no one was a better spy master than Soundwave. But that's where you think you've heard the name Drone Master before.
Not one of the higher ups, then. Alright.
No.
Good.
Okay, so these alien machines, they can transform into vehicles so that they can blend in around here, right? Which means any one of those vehicles out there could be these things. You could pass by one in the street and never realize that you might have passed an alien. It's incredible.
Just checking, it's the Porsche that can't park yours.
Yeah, why?
Oh, good. No reason.
Okay. In any case, we've been working on something called the energy transducer. It was a means of trying to convert one energy type to another. It was pie in the sky kind of stuff. Our original CEO, Astoria's father, was a genius who had been working on this kind of thing for years before he died. And I'm an enthusiastic amateur. But recently I got in touch with a theoretical physicist from Japan, and she agreed to help me out with this thing, and we have actually been making progress on creating the energy transducer. I didn't notice it at first, except in small things, people acting weird, but before I knew it, this whole place was taken over by people acting like robots. And before I knew it, here I was being confronted by this great big walking, talking machine telling me that I needed to complete the energy transducer so that they could use it to create something called Energon. My colleague, the theoretical physicist, Dr. Kimiko Oyama, she refused to help, so he spiked her head with one of those mind control things that he did to everybody else. I didn't want to be mind controlled. I needed to buy time, so I capitulated. I helped them build the device. I helped them do all the theoretical modeling work. I've been trying to drag my heels as much as possible, but now we're only inches away from finishing this thing. I was trying to play for time until somebody noticed that we were out of communication. And now you're here. Okay. So the basic situation is this. The device, I don't know where they're keeping it, but it needs some computations to get it finished. I haven't yet finished the computations. I need Dr. Oyama to finish the formulaic computations. They need Dr. Oyama and myself to finish the computations in order to get this thing to work. As much as I want to help everybody else here, the easiest way to deny these creatures the device that they're looking to use is to basically get Oyama and myself out of here. Without it, they won't be able to configure the device correctly and it shouldn't work. Unfortunately, last I noticed, Oyama was in the main laboratory over there. I'm gonna have to try and get her out somehow and then leave the facility. I'm up to suggestions on how we do that. I'm not exactly brave. That's all I got.
So he thinks the doctor's in the big bit, yeah?
Sorry? He thinks the other doctor is in the larger laboratory, yes.
Right. And we don't know much about what's in that larger laboratory yet.
Other than that there appear to be, according to Battletrack, a pair of Decepticons.
Right. And how likely are they to notice us as being phonies?
Well, you gotta wonder
Looked
if
like
somebody...
one of them could scan us.
What was that, Sean?
There's one,
It looked like one of them was able to scan us and find out.
or possibly as that one was, whenever it looked like it was scanning one of them, they immediately changed what they were doing, might be able to directly control them, in which case they would notice very quickly if non-drones were acting as drones the moment that one focused on them.
I'd rather not do this, but I have a potential distraction I could do if required. Though I don't like the idea, so I'd like to see if we've got any alternatives first.
I seem to remember a lot of documentaries where they would set out a fire and cause an alarm.
Well, that could be potentially dangerous considering the various experiments that go on in this building. I mean, we are contracted by the military to do various modifications for weaponry, which is what this lab used to be used for, and the other 3 labs nearby.
Battletrack, do you want to try the easy option first?
Take the easy option.
Go tell the security guard that the doctor here needs his companion.
I will attempt to do so. Battletrack will go over. He will ask Flyby if Flyby can move out of the way so he can get out.
Well, technically, all you have to do is move your hologrammatical projection through Flyby.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But I wasn't sure if I could go through and open the door. Say again?
He still thinks he's a tank.
Okay. We'll go up to the guard there and say, as per orders for this drone to assist human Dr. Carlyle, in order to render assistance as per ordered, the human needs his companion.
This one will fetch Dr. Oyama immediately. Please stand by.
Understood.
Tracks the security guard move off into the room and comes back with a Japanese lady in laboratory coveralls. The security guard then resumes his station. Please escort Dr. Oyama to Dr. Carlyle.
Acknowledged. Turns to Oyama and says, "Follow me."
Very well. So, as she enters, she very robotically says, "You require my assistance, Dr. Carlyle." Yes, I do. We need to finalize the, the formula. Very well. And then he looks at you guys with, like, well, what do I do now? He finalizes the formula. Dr. Carlyle,
Doctor,
why are you whispering?
Didn't you say you both needed to get something out of your car to help with this?
Yes. Yes. I had a brainwave in the bathroom last night, and he's wincing visibly at this as he's scrambling for something to say.
You left your notebooks in the car.
I
did.
Need
help bringing them in.
I did. I forgot to bring my notebooks, which I left in the car. You should really come with me and these 4 people in order that we make sure that we find them. There's this tense silence as Dr. Oyama just stares straight ahead. Proceed. And Carlyle just goes, "Oh, thank God." So, lead the way.
Mike?
You want me to lead them?
Yeah, I'm your cover if you need it, if you can't get out the door.
Now, the security guard notices Muldoon sneaking, I say sneaking, ambling out of the door.
Please lead the way, Doctor.
Yes, I am leading the way because I need to find notes in my car. He is saying this really, really loud. In order for Dr. Oyama and myself to complete calculations. The security guard seems to think this is alright and then just goes on to staring straight ahead of himself.
Keep going.
I am going to my car. Here I go.
Towers.
What was that, Andy?
I'm getting a Faulty Towers vibe here. I mentioned it once, but I think I got away with it.
Just tell everybody on the way out.
Hello, we are going towards the car park. This is normal behavior.
Humans do this all the time.
So,
Hi, receptionist. We are going to car park to collect notes. We'll return shortly.
very well. Please return imminently. Okay. So Carlyle is sweating at this point. And when you eventually do get to the door, as you open the glass-fronted doors, you notice that the 4 black and purple cars you noted, 3 black and purple cars you noted previously, have shifted position. They're no longer parked in the same spots they were.
Jack had more emotion, he'd be going, "Did anyone pick up that phone? Because I caught it."
So Carlisle just kind of looks at you and goes, "Oh, do we do this? Do we make a run for it? Do we stroll over to my car? Do we stroll over to your car? You do have a car, right?"
Yeah.
Just casually indicate the tank in the middle of the parking
Yes.
lot.
Oh my God! You came in that thing?
I'll try to say,
We got told you needed some cover.
I shall provide the. Quietly he says, I shall provide the cover if and when needed.
It's got to
Okay.
be done. It's got to be said. Get to the chopper.
What?
This does
to your normal human chopper.
This does introduce the question of how are you going to... Well, actually, at the moment, it's a case of just walking over to wherever you are. As you start walking towards the tank, Dr. Oyama goes, "Your conveyance is over there, Dr. Carlisle." At which point Carlisle looks to the rest of you and goes, No, that I left that here yesterday. I forgot to take it home, and now I drive a tank." And he really grimaces hard at this one.
Okay, Doctor. Come with me and grab her arm.
I start heading towards the tank. I'm thinking if I can get in the tank, then we can use that cage to keep her in until we can get her out of that dronification thing she's in.
Very good idea. What about Carlisle himself? Where are you stashing him? Is he going in
the tank.
Battletrack as well? Yep, okay. Just not in the cage.
No, he could just be inside the hugely armoured tank.
Alright then. So you all start moseying towards the tank as inconspicuously as you possibly can. One of you dragging along Dr. Oyama. You think you notice out of the corner of your eye one of the black and purple cars kind of nudges forward a little bit. As if it was just taken off the clutch, but nonetheless, you make it around, and of course you circle around Battletrack in order to use the shadow of the enormous tank to do what you need to do. At which point, the cage part at the back of Battletank unfurls, and Dr. Oyama is just there going, "This does not seem to be your conveyance, Doctor, and there do not appear to be notes inside of this section."
Did you want to throw in the cage or inside where all the armor is?
I have my hollow pilot slip back into the tank so that I can get back into a normal-sized body.
Okay. And as soon as you do, you deactivate the rope drone and it just falls to the floor, and you get your full senses once again, and the full sense of you being in your normal chassis, and you feel big and powerful once again. Meanwhile, Tex, I assume you're just throwing Dr. Oyama into the cage.
I'm trying to see if Battletrack wants her in the cage or inside, but apparently the cage, so...
Someone did mention the cage, so...
Walk her in the cage slowly, and then close the door while she's standing there going, "This doesn't look like your vehicle."
Are you sure? Maybe you should have a closer inspection. Give me an athletics
Doctor,
check.
there are notes in the middle of that.
Can I get an athletics check
roll,
from Tex, please? Just for a light shove. Yep, that's fine. If you look there, Doctor, you'll find the notes are right down there, right at the back.
Oh, but...
Push. In she goes.
Once she's in, slam the door.
Blang! And the whole compartment kind of rolls and folds back into the inside of Battletrack. At which point, go on.
Oh, Flyby. What's your opinion of doing a bit of amateur dramatics?
What is Flyby's opinion of doing a bit of amateur dramatics?
In the sense of, you want me to perform stage stuff, or you want me to fly?
In the sense of, if we want to take these things down, do you want me to try and sneak in there and cause some damage, or do we want to all pretend that we are horribly shocked that Battletrack is an Autobot and Megatron's our real leader, and let them escort us back into the building where we can do as much damage as we want.
I can't do much damage to a hologram, can I?
Unfortunately, no. Your
Is
physical
Carlisle...
presence- Go on.
Has Carlisle got into the tank as well?
Well, Carlisle is kind of slowly getting in. He's looking around like, I've never been in a tank before, and he comes up the ladder, goes next to the access hatch. How do I press a button? Do I crank a wheel?
The hatch closes.
No, well, I imagine the hatch opens in order to let him in.
Oh, the hatch, oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, the hatch opens to let him in, and using Tommy Atkins' voice and hologram goes, "Please enter. The hatch will close to secure you in safely."
Oh, okay. And he kind of slowly puts himself inside. Do I need to close this thing after myself? And the thing
Close the
slams
hatch
shut
after
on
him.
top of him. Yeah.
Okay. Which point Battletrack will tell the others resources secured. Preparing to calculate escape vector.
All right. So, what was the talk about what you guys were going to do in order to get away?
Right. Doctor, where's the device stored at the moment?
I'm not sure. They didn't let me know. This drone master thing was keeping it to himself. You guys can't see what's going on Discord at the moment, but trust me, it's funny. You do realise that the 4 cars are now getting very suspicious about why you're loitering about the car park, so it might just be a good idea to just move. Or do your thing now, whatever it was you were going to do.
Oh,
Right.
So we're assuming that the cars are Autobots, so... Oh, sorry, Decepticons. We can start blowing them up.
Primary directive would be to get these resources out so the Decepticons cannot complete their task. In addition, as per standard orders of Optimus Prime, human life are to be protected as possible.
Okay. So they're safe inside you. You start going, and if anything happens, we start shooting.
Very well, and Battletrack takes that as strategy and immediately starts moving.
So Battletrack revs up, and this, he's a freaking huge tank, so the revving up of his engine is not quiet. So this enormous machine backs out of the car parking spot, rotates on the spot, and then heads straight towards the security barrier. At which point the rest of you are now in your vehicle forms and are ready to follow, or what? That was a yay I heard then, was it?
I think so.
Okay. So everybody's sat and ready with their hologrammatic pilots, but mostly Flyby now has full sense of himself once again as the rope drone deactivates. Spins up his rotors as the other two transform into their vehicle forms, and you're getting ready to go as the security guard at the barricade once again just dutifully raises the barricade and allows you all out. The 3 cars kind of shift position as if tracking you as you move out, when all of a sudden, as you're just getting, the last of you comes out past the barricade, there's a massive explosion as the roof of the facility at the back just explodes outwards, and a Decepticon with jets power boosting him into the air is looking around furiously, then notices the 4 vehicles pulling away and just yells, "They've got the humans! After them!" At which point, it's time for the chase. So, the 3 cars that were indeed Decepticons roll out pretty quick after you. Now, as it happens, the flying Decepticon then transforms and turns into what looks like some kind of jet fighter, and speeds off after you. But everybody on the ground, including the Decepticons, has got the same base speed. But I'm going to need you to transform into your alt modes, please.
not already in our alt modes?
You can do that by going to your character sheet and hitting the transform steering wheel. It will resize you accordingly and give you different speeds. So there we are, Battletrack has just been made. What is he now? Extended!
It's been made very big.
So yep, Muldoon has now increased in size as he's turned into a sports bike. Tex, you've transformed into your kind of small trailer. Flyby.
Where's the steering wheel?
Okay, so if you're on the skills tab of your character sheet, next to initiative, there's a button that says transform, but it's the steering wheel that's the clickable aspect of it.
Right.
As soon as you click that, it'll shift you into alt mode. So your speeds have now changed. You now have 60-foot aerial speed as you are now in your alt form and chugging along. Now, for a helicopter, you are whiz fast. So you are just as fast in helicopter form as this Decepticon is in jet fighter form. So what I'm going to need now is initiative. So let me throw you guys into initiative just as soon as I get that little thing out of my way. So, there we go. We now have the combat tracker. You should know where to find it. If you roll your initiatives, please. Ooh, Tex rolled very poorly for initiative.
Uno!
And let's roll the Decepticons. Alright. So, Flyby.
Really high.
Flyby goes first, which makes sense, he's the fastest. Now, Flyby has a speed of 60, which means he has a speed 15 feet faster than his ground-based compatriots, so he's a lot faster than anybody else except the Decepticon. So what would you like to do? You've got these 3 cars coming up behind Battletrack and a jet fighter coming back on your tail as well. Now
It's probably
go on, sorry.
take out. It's probably better for me to go for the Seeker, isn't it?
It would be cool to have an aerial battle between a jet fighter and a helicopter.
Yeah.
Our aerial support can eliminate their aerial support.
Excelente.
Okay.
At the moment, because you're travelling the same kind of speed, you can more or less stay where you are unless you want to perform a certain manoeuvre to get yourself closer to, further away from, anything
No.
like that.
I think we just shoot him.
Okay, so one thing I want to draw your collective attentions to is the number of free actions you're allowed. So if I get you to open up your character sheets, if you look at the speed section, underneath speed you should have a little bit that says actions. It'll say 1M, 1S, and a number of F related movement actions.
Yep.
F is free actions. So you're allowed 1 movement action, 1 standard action, which is what the S and M's are.
Yep.
And depending on what your speed is, you are allowed a certain number of free actions. The number of free actions you're allowed is your speed minus 2. So the faster you are, the more free actions you can do. What can you do with free actions, I hear you cry? Well,
What can Battletrack do with free actions? He demands answers!
the kind of things you can do with a free action are simple things, very quick things. Open, close a door, use a simple item, aim. You can push yourself, which means you can gain an extra boost of speed. You can put a weapon or an item away. You can find a specific item within a pack or a container. Or you can pick up objects. The main thing you probably want to focus on, especially in times like this, is you can use a free action to deploy from hidden one of your internal hardpoint mounted weapons, like, as far as Flyby is concerned, perhaps a machine gun that you may have stowed in your internal hardpoint.
Sounds like a plan.
So that's one free action, but you've got 5, which means with another free action you can aim.
Sounds like another good plan.
So when you aim, what you can essentially do is you go to your combat tab on your character sheet.
Yep.
You notice that if way, way, way down at the bottom, your machine gun has got a number of options.
Yeah.
Those options are fire normally, which is the top one, has a range
Right.
of 40 to 160 and just does 1 sharp damage. If you want it to do extra damage, you sacrifice a bit of accuracy, so you suffer a downshift. That means that the skill dice drops down a size. And if you want your machine gun to affect more than 1 target, similar thing, it is a downshift. But if you aim, you give yourself an upshift.
Okay.
Clear enough?
Sounds like a plan.
So
Can
what
you
you
aim
do...
multiple times?
Sorry?
Can you aim multiple times in a turn?
You can only shoot once, but you can certainly aim. If later on when you gain the ability to shoot with multiple weapons because you can make multiple attacks, which comes in later levels, you can use different fast actions to aim with different weapons.
So aiming doesn't stack then. Cool.
Aiming, you can't use 3 free actions to stack aiming on top of aiming on top of aiming. No, sadly not.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I
So
would like you
it's
to
all-
do is tell me which of your machine gun options you would like to employ.
Ranged 40, 160, sharp 2.
You want to do extra damage. Okay, so there's a dice next to that option, and when you roll, when you
Yep.
hover over, it says perform attack roll. If you press that, it'll open a window. It's already
Yep.
put the shift down in there. You can put shift up 1. So you enter
Right.
in the shift up button, in the shift up section you enter 1. However,
Yep.
you are travelling at your normal speed and are firing with an emplaced weapon, which puts a shift down. So you will have 1 shift up and 2 shifts down.
So change the 1 to a 2 and shift down.
Uh-huh.
So I change the 1 in the shift down to 2.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Otherwise, you are rolling normal, you are not rolling with an edge or a snag. You don't have
Okay.
a specialization either, I don't believe. Let me just check that to make absolutely sure. Targeting, no, you have no specializations, so... Roll.
Just
That could have been better.
yeah.
So this guy is jinking and weaving a bit, which means that you unleash a fusillade. You were going for punching power over accuracy, so you're forced him to jink and weave a bit. But unfortunately, you do not manage to hit him. Do you want to pull ahead of your fellows a little bit, or do you want to stay where you are, or do you want to move back? What would you like to do? I am assuming that Flyby is a certain height in the air. So he's not at ground level, he is higher up than his ground-based allies.
Yeah. Can I move closer to him?
You can indeed. That's nothing much, you just drop back to get a little closer. Whoops, you had the other guys selected as well, I'll move them back.
Bye-bye, do not drag people into the enemy.
There we go.
Okay.
Problem solved.
Yeah, it looks like because I made all the because I made all of you able to see each other's characters. You've probably automatically selected every playable character on there. So remember to draw a square in an empty space to deselect everybody else.
Battletrack is grateful, Flyby.
I didn't begin combat. Whoops-a-daisy. So that was Flyby. It's the Seeker's turn. Now the Seeker veers off and starts heading towards Battletrack. Now he's using most of his movement speed to keep up with this moving convoy, but he's using his extra speed to do a roaring flyby of Battletrack, which means he is now going to make a driving test. And gets a 15. So he is using a special ability called Strafing Run, and if I remember, it has to be the target's toughness. Battletrack, would you like to tell us all what your toughness currently is?
No.
No? Okay.
Secret.
Did you not hear me, guys? Can you
No,
hear me?
I didn't hear you, but I
Calm
can hear
down
you
now.
now.
No, yeah, his toughness is 23.
So, the Decepticon Seeker comes roaring down and goes blasting very, very close to Battletrack, and it creates something of a sonic boom. Dr. Carlyle, within Battletrack, just kind of puts his hands to his ears and goes, "Ah!" Battletrack, however, is entirely unfazed.
You have nothing to fear. They cannot penetrate my tank's armor.
At which point, the Seeker is now going to try and shoot at Battletrack. Therefore, is going to get a shift down because he is firing whilst on the move. And I get a 4, which is a terrible miss. Okay, Mully's turn. Now, there are a trio of Decepticons in car mode tailing you, and you have the ability to move off-road, suffering no penalty.
So can I use one of the 3 actions to change the form of my hologram to look like either Carlisle or...
Ooh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Makes sense. And then once this opening hits, just off-road. So it
Alrighty.
makes it look like I'm trying to get Carlisle away, cause a distraction.
Good, good.
And while I do that, I'll take a pot shot at the leading car.
Alright, no problem. So, just like I did with Andy, you find the effect that you're going for with your weapon and you make a roll. You will suffer a downshift because you're firing on the move. From that, off you go. Know where to find it?
Yep.
Yep, well done. 10 is a shot that goes close but does miss, I am afraid. But gets their attention, so. So you've used your fast action to change the form of your hologram, which is good. That does definitely draw their attention.
It will
Battletrack.
be your turn next.
It'll be my turn next. Battletrack.
I think we decided Battletrack's default weapon when he's in transform is his rocket launcher.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, which has a 20-foot radius.
Yes, indeed.
I'm thinking, can I use my free action, which I only get 1, to do a targeting, and then basically shoot in the middle of them, trying to get battle all 3 of them with a rocket launch.
Yep, so just to let you know, a 20-foot radius is that. So you can definitely get them all.
Yep, okie dokie. So, do I need to roll anything for targeting?
Yes, you will.
Okay.
It
So is that
should
just
be
a
there
targeting
for you.
roll? Yep, just a targeting roll.
No, you actually go to the weapon itself.
Oh, right, okay.
So on the combat tab or the gear tab, you go find rocket launcher, and you want to find the effect. So ranged 100, 200, sharp 120-foot radius has a dice next to it. Use that.
Yep.
But remember to
Okay.
put a downshift in because you're firing on the move.
Okay, so let's shift down. And the targeting just gets put in as normal with free action, does it?
No, you need to put an upshift in there. Pardon me for targeting. I forgot.
Alright.
Thank you for reminding
Okay.
me.
That's okay. So it's essentially 1 up and 1 down.
Yes, please. They cancel each
Okay.
other out, or they should do. So let's see what we got. A 13 and a 1 is a 14, which means you do actually hit them.
Woo!
Ba-boom, which means you do 1 damage on each and every one of them. Bam. Bam. And bam. So they all rock and reel as they take a massive explosion that detonates in their midst. It tears up the road, but they are still coming, but they look a bit battered and scorched as a result.
Battletrack does not appreciate tailgaters.
Alright, that's all you can do because your move action is spent maintaining your speed.
Yep.
It is your turn.
Decepticons. So, let's see, this guy is going to use a free action to boost his speed, and then he's going to use a driving test, of which I fail utterly, so he goes spinning off-road and drops back, which means that he misses his turn.
It's your turn.
This guy, can he see... He's going to do an alertness test to see if he actually manages to notice that Dr. Carlyle is on the back of a bike. This guy's blind as a bat and has got a whacking great big tank in his face. So he is likewise going to try something himself. And I am going to actually spend a story point here. As the Decepticon roars upwards, and as he goes he makes a jump and transforms so that he lands on the back of Battletrack. I'm just going to alter his image for just a second. So Battletrack now has another passenger on the back of him. Tex.
It will be your turn next.
Right. Is that passenger's head visible from above the turret?
Absolutely.
Oh, good.
Oh, an unrefined point has been spent. Damn you, Decepticons!
Now, what I'm trying to do is see if I can actually get it to... That's not the target button.
No, so what you want to do is, you have got 3 free actions, so one of them can be aim. You go to your combat tab, you should find long range rifle, and you see that it's got 3 effects.
It has, but I've also got a machine gun.
You want to go for the machine gun, okay?
The thing is, the long range rifle, that's 150. Is that minimum range or?
No,
maximum?
that's maximum range.
That's maximum for short range.
No, that's
right.
that's maximum for short range. Yeah, that's not minimum range. It doesn't have.
Okay, cool.
I don't think. Let me check that. It has a minimum range of 30.
Oh, that's fine then. Right. Okay. And that amount of damage was 1?
Well, it depends what you choose. So
No, the amount of damage you took previously was 1.
Rephrase that for me because I'm feeling a bit dumb.
The damage they've already taken, that was how
was
much?
1, yes.
Okay. Right, there's no point taking the hit for doing a 3. So, I'll take the hit for doing a 2, so I'm going to deploy my long-range rifle, I'm going to aim it.
So you will get an upshift for aiming, you will get a downshift for firing on the move.
So, yeah, but that means I'm down to 1 downshift. Okay. And this is targeting. Do I have to take the specialized roll for it?
No. Actually, that's a good point. Do you have a specialized skill when it comes to targeting? You do not. So you do not press specialized, no.
Ah. Cool. Right. Fire.
Fire! Ooh, not terribly high rolls going on from anybody right now. Pyong! It goes wide, compensating for the fact you don't actually want to hit Battletrack. The shot goes a bit high.
What can we spend story points on our side?
Story points. If you use story points to, if your skill fumbles, which it hasn't, you can re-roll any die result of 1. You can roll a skill as if you were specialized in it. You can add 5 to a defense before dice are rolled, or you can add 1 to a defense after dice are rolled. You can also get a clue if you're stumped and don't know what to do next. That kind of thing.
Okay, so I could have re-rolled that. I could re-roll that 1, but that doesn't feel like
It was a bit
it's
away.
kind of worth it. Okay.
Welcome to level 1.
Yes.
You're still level 1 characters, so you know.
And let's shift slightly out the way so that Battletrack can move forwards.
Well, at the moment, you're as fast as Battletrack, so Battletrack is moving as fast as you are in a forwards direction. If you move off-road, because you're not an outrider like Muldoon, you will suffer a penalty to movement. Every 5 foot of movement is 10 foot instead, so the road is better.
Let's stay on road. Okay.
It's your turn.
Alright, final Decepticon soldier. This guy can see that Muldoon is getting away, so he is going to affect it, but he, like I have just mentioned, off-road is not really their style, so he's going to have to throw in his one fast in order to try and keep up, so he manages to get to about there-ish before he starts having trouble. But he is going to take a pot shot. And is going to try and use a stun attack. Now, that's got a range of 50, so let's see. Ooh, just within range. So he lets loose a mini laser shot. I can't use targeting because he's already used it to gain extra speed, so it's going to be a downshift for me, which means it's a 1. Actually, I used the wrong points. So, you know that thing that I can roll again for story points? I'm going to use a story point. I'm not having that. Downshift, try again. Better. What is... I'm using a stun blaster. What is Muldoon's highest defense?
Evasion.
Evasion of 16, which means it misses. Pew! Close thing, but it misses.
It will be your turn next.
Flyby. Right, it's your turn again, Andy.
Right. Gonna go for the same dude.
Go for the same dude. The Seeker seems to have ignored Flyby and had gone for the one he thinks is carrying the passengers, which he's not entirely wrong about, so... What do you want to do?
I'm going to use... My free action's still aiming, isn't it?
If you want to, yes, you can certainly do that.
Yeah, and then I'm going to use the top one.
The top option of machine gun, okay?
Yeah. And
That's
then,
the safest one.
Should I just roll then? Don't add anything?
So, no, if you use the option that you want, so ranged 40, 160, sharp 1, it'll bring up everything. So you're going to be using one shift up for aiming, but one shift down for firing on the move.
Yes. Nice.
Still at D6, that's a 12. That goes a bit wide of him, I am afraid. He's still very nimble. But that one shot was closer than the last one.
Okay.
You're going to get very, very close to him now.
Now, box.
I will note that Flyby as a Seeker does have a flying speed even in bot mode. It's just that his flying speed in vehicle mode is faster than his flying speed in bot mode.
Right.
But converting to bot mode does take a standard action, so you'd lose the ability to act if you did so. Nevertheless, you're very close to the Seeker. Now it's the Seeker's turn. Pardon me.
It's your turn.
Being yelled at by Shao Kahn here. This Seeker doesn't like how close Flyby is getting, so he's going to back off a little bit, and he's going to open up with his own weapons. So he's going to use his speed of that to add... Yep, and he's going to use a stun of his own. Oh, I am rolling absolutely abysmally, so, you know, his shot goes just as wide. So far, no one's managing much of anything. Muldoon! You've attracted their attention.
To that.
So I have 3 free actions. Can I use one of those for a burst of speed?
Yes, you can. So, what you do when you give it a burst of speed is, if I can find actions in combat, movement actions, pushing yourself. For every free action you spend in conjunction with a move action, you add an extra 5 feet to whatever movement you are doing. So
It's 2 to 10.
yeah, so you're pulling slightly ahead.
Yeah. So it still looks like I'm trying to get away.
Yep.
And then I've got 1 to aim, so I can take a pot shot at the lead car.
Go for it. Do you need me to remind you of the upshifts and downshifts, or do you remember them?
So I think I've balanced out. So I've got 1 for move, doing it on the move,
Yeah.
but then I'm aiming, which sort of cancels it.
Yep. Full beans. Pulling the gang. Doing it. Oh, good lord, what is it with all of us rolling 4s? We're going to have to readjust everyone's defences so that, maybe 5s and ups can actually hit.
Thanks for playing Star Trek again.
Yes, quite. Oh well, never mind. But you're still pulling away, drawing their attention. Battletrack's turn.
You are next.
Okay, so I got one of them on top of me, haven't I?
Yes, you do.
Is there any way I can use, like, swim my turret and try and shove him off?
Absolutely you can. Give me an athletics test.
Okay. I don't know if it helps as well, but I think I don't know if it helps, but oh no, I'm in my op mode, so no. In that case, do I have athletics? Oh, my athletics is basically 0.
Unless you want to do a drive test to see if you can shake him off.
I mean, my driving is better. Does the ground off-road count as difficult terrain by any chance?
It does.
Okay. I might go on there while trying to shake him off because my
Tracks allow you
in
to
my
do so.
odd form give me an edge on driving skills made while navigating rough terrain.
Alright, which means you get to tag the edge option. Which means you roll 2d20 and take the highest, but it'll do that automatically.
Okay.
So, cool.
So do I need to like move this
Either way.
direction away from the car? I'll
Either
go
way, yep.
this direction away from the cars. Driving, and I tag the edge option. Is that right?
Yes, indeed.
Okie dokie.
There we are, it was a 2, but you've rolled a 19, which is a 21, which is definitely on his toughness, which means you knock him flying. Ah! Clank, 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 clank.
Battle tank has 2 paying drivers. You are not one of them.
So this guy goes rolling out and is going to have to use his actions to get back with you, it seems. But in the meantime, yes, you successfully shoved him off. Alright.
It's your turn.
Decepticons get 1 extra action. He's going to try and take a pot shot once again at Muldoon, who's trying to pull away. We're not having any of that. Again, low rolls, not doing much.
It's your turn.
Right, the soldier that Battletrack just shoved off is going to use a standard action to transform, and as such gains a speed back of 45, so he's able to actually keep up now. But nonetheless, he's out of actions. Because he can't do anything else. Although he is going to spend a fast action to try and keep up. Hex.
Make ready. Your turn comes.
Right.
Folks are scattered all over the place at the moment.
And there's a few targets next to each other. That's
Oh,
really
yes.
convenient. So, aiming.
Yep,
I can't aim a second time.
sadly.
And fortunately, my grenades aren't in places I can get at the moment.
Sadly not.
Which would be really convenient if they were. So, let's do some rifle shooting, shall we?
Right on.
So. Okay, I am gonna go for...
Now bearing in mind, you can use a story point if you really think you need the help, so that you can roll with specialization.
Yeah, let's roll into story.
I was going to say, with all the luck we've been having recently, I think I'd encourage you to actually use a story point here.
So, using a story point, I
Ooh,
can't.
there we go. Look at all those ones!
Yeah, and a 3 on
And you
the
still
big
managed a 4.
God.
Jeez.
Ow!
Foundry hates us tonight. Well, this is getting dragged out. Okay. Alright, unfortunately that shot goes wide. No one is managing to hit anything much at the moment.
Battletrack's hit a few things.
Actually, no, that's a good point. Battletrack has hit a few things.
It's your turn.
Decepticons still trying furiously to get and catch up with, but they're having to use their actions to creep along. They are trying their best to get Muldoon.
This gun's all hot, no cow.
Right, 14. It's not enough. It's a near miss that time, mind you. That one's just whizzing over the hologram's head. Flyby. What abilities do you have? What perks do you have?
Make ready. Your turn comes.
Pistol whip, war veteran, racer, impromptu turret. You've already used impromptu turret to fit your machine gun in. Quick draw, racer, veteran. Nothing much. So, Andy, you want to try that again?
Yeah, why not?
Maybe try it with a story point this time?
Okay, so how do I do that?
So I will just take the story point away, but what that essentially means is when you use your next attack action, there'll be a box where you can check that says specialized. Remember to check it. So which option of your machine gun would you like to use?
I'll use a top one again.
Top one again. Okay, so same deal as before. One for aiming, one upshift for aiming, one downshift. But this time you roll with specialization, so you actually get a 20!
I mean, I actually hit something.
You'd actually hit something, which means you hit him for 1 sharp, which means he takes a hit point's worth of damage. Bang! Smoke starts billowing out of one of his wings as one of his side engines takes a hit. You do have
It's your turn.
speed you can boost on if you, or do you want to stay close to him?
Let's stay close to it.
Okay. It's the Seeker's turn this time. He's not terribly happy with that, but he is forced to power on and keep up the same deal with yourself. Although he's going to try a ram.
I got that.
But he doesn't manage to make contact with you. You're far too nippy and maneuverable. So as you see him come in, roaring at you, trying to spear you with his nose cone, you just kind of jink out of the way, and he flies kind of underneath you and then passes back out. So you missed with his attack. Molly! Same thing as before, trying to pull ahead and keep firing back at them? Or are you changing tactics?
No, I think I'll stick with the same tactic. It's flip them up at least. So, shoot first this time.
So, do you know what you need to do? Yep, you do. Ooh, 11, 12, 13 against... Which guy?
The lead one.
Cool beans. 13. Now you're using sharp ranged targeting. Anything special about that?
It's silencing.
Looks silencing on it, but it's blaster with the absolute silencer. Doesn't have any other traits. No, it doesn't, because I'm looking in the wrong place. Just ballistic. Now ballistic means it hits a very certain defense. So let me find out what that defense is, because I have a feeling it's toughness. Ballistic. It only goes for toughness unless you have a talent that says otherwise, which means it has to go on the Decepticons' toughness, even though his evasion is higher, which means you hit him.
So,
Which means he takes 1 damage, which means he is reduced to 0. Boom! So this guy takes a shot, you hit him right in the middle front portion of his bonnet, and it just kind of crumples in, and he spins nose over arse over nose over arse and goes rolling and comes to a cataclysmic stop in a mass of dirt and spare parts. They go flying. 1 down. Nice. Battletrack.
You are next.
See if I can blast that one just behind me off the
Yep,
road.
you're going to need a bit of
Possibly-
careful aiming here.
Yeah, so yeah, free action to aim. And then basically aiming it so he gets an explosion, but I don't.
Yep.
If that's okay.
That's fine.
And then fire!
Personally, I think you could take it,
Probably,
but let's not
no.
chance it, aye?
Yeah, well, what kind of soldier deliberately harms himself when not needed?
Plus, you do have passengers to protect, so...
Yes. 14.
14.
I'm going
now.
to say a Spetsnaz soldier.
What was that, sorry?
A Spetsnaz soldier. Because they're the only special forces in the world that allow fatalities for training recruits.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Now this has got the anti-tank ability, which I didn't notice before, and should have looked, which means that it ignores armor bonuses, it ignores plating bonuses to toughness. They don't have plating bonuses to toughness, sadly. But reload quality means you do need to use a movement action to reload it, so let's just say that because you didn't attack last time, you did use that to reload it, so it's once every other turn to reload kind of jobby. But kaboom! Nonetheless, you rolled a 14, which is on the money, I do believe, because that's what Muldoon
I
hit
rolled
with.
last time, I think.
So, ba-boom! He goes up in a cloud of smoke, does this Decepticon, and just see as with the other one, he goes tumbling sideways and just rolls and comes to a complete stop somewhere off in the desert.
And when you wake up in the Matrix, tell them Battletrack sent you. And then tell them I apologise for the inconvenience.
It is your turn.
Other Decepticon, noticing that things are going a bit pear-shaped here, is going to use a free action to gain a bit of speed, and is going to turn his attention to Tex. Because this guy is taking shots at him, so it's going to be a case of taking a shot at Tex instead. And I roll an 18 for the first time. Tex definitely gets hit and takes 1 health worth of damage. So either I can do that, or you do that, Davis. Up to you. So that was a hard shot, and that hurt.
Yes, that hurt.
So now Tex is sparking and smoking as well, but it is
You
now
are
Tex's turn.
next.
2 Decepticons remain.
Right. Gun, you don't like me, and I'm getting very annoyed with you. But if we shoot this correctly, I will get you a new scope.
Now, if you really, really want to push it, you do have energon points that you can use. If you want to sacrifice an energon point, you can get an upshift, an extra upshift. You will find your energon points in the alt mode section of your character sheet.
I am using one of those.
So if you spend an energon point, then that means that you can treat this next attempt with an extra upshift.
Okay. So, these guys only need one damage
Pretty
to take
much.
them out, don't they?
Yes, indeed.
Right.
Just needs 1 good hit.
Okay. I am on the move, which gives me a downshift. I'm
Correct.
aiming, it gives me an upshift.
Correct.
I spent an
Energon point.
jump point for an extra upshift, and I'd like to spend a story point to specialise it again. Any objections?
I hear no objections from the floor, therefore go for it. This is going to be 1 big hit.
Roll out.
That's more like it. That is a definite hit. Gaboom! Takes him right dead center, blows out the cockpit of his chassis, and he goes rolling to destruction. Alright.
It will be your turn next.
Flyby. The other guys are kind of upstaging you here.
It's not nice, is it?
They've each taken out one Decepticon, so, you know. Can we let this go?
No, we cannot.
So the same applies if you want to use an energon point from your reserves, you can gain an extra upshift.
Okie doke.
Give you all the advantages
So
you must.
would that be 2 upshifts and 1 downshift then?
Correct.
Cool.
Look at that 4. Look at that 4.
Oh,
What do you want to do with a 4?
it was almost 14, but one of the other dice knocked it.
I'm afraid.
Fixed D20s at 12 today.
You know what? With all the effort that went into that, I'm superseding that. That's just the dice being lame. You take out the Seeker,
Nice.
and he goes careening down, spins as he loses control, and he goes crashing down nose first into the ground. There's a big explosion, allowing you all to get back on the road as per normal. So you all kind of line yourselves up again.
As we're getting on the road, should we all have energon points? Because my energy points is be 0 out of 0.
You should have energon points, yes. It's equal to your lowest, so that'll be 1 energon point for you. 1 out of 1
Okay.
energon points, I'll do that now.
Thank you very much.
You have energon
These are
points
good.
equal to your lowest essence score. If I didn't give you energon points, then that's my mistake. So Flyby's got the same problem, so Flyby has 2 energon points. I knew there was something I forgot.
It's fine.
But I did do it for text, and I think I did it for Mully.
Yep.
I did. So you guys have lost your pursuers, but as you're careening down the road, and Tex is feeling a little worse for wear, there's a sudden rumble, and a nearby piece of hillside rolls down and takes out the road ahead of you. But thankfully, just ahead, there is there's a currently abandoned construction site that you can pull into to have a breather. So we will move ourselves to the construction site. So you trundle into the construction site. I haven't got you in your alt modes in this, so I will change you to your alt modes where I can. Boink. Flyby. Do. Their specific sizes. There we go. Thank you, Sean. So you kind of pull into the to the construction site as you realise you've lost your pursuers, but the road ahead has just been rendered blocked for the moment. But nevertheless, you've gotten away from your pursuers. You can attend to your wounded party member if you so wish. You can do that using a standard repair kit and somebody making a technology test of 10 or over. So
Anybody
somebody
got any ranks in tech?
2 folks have got ranks in tech, but the one with the best ranks in tech, I think, or the only one ranks in tech, might be Flyby actually. Yes, Flyby is the only one with ranks in tech. But in order to do it, he's going to have to transform.
Right, where was that betting appearance?
Keep the people inside Battletrack for a
Yes.
minute.
The advantage you've got is that the those who can see are currently stuck inside of Battletrack and therefore cannot see. So you hear Dr. Carlisle going,
Cover.
"Is it over? Is everything okay?"
Please stand by. We are currently ascertaining the situation.
So, yeah, basically,
Ooh.
The kits allow you to use skills as if you had specializations in them. In this case, the technology skill is also used to conduct repairs on Cybertronians. So if you had a specialization in technology, you could take repair. But the kit does that for you, so it allows you to treat your technology skill as if you had repair. So you can make a technology skill roll, and you need 10 or more to get a hit point back on techs, basically. So, Andy, if you would care to give us a technology skill check.
Is it specialised?
It is... it counts as being specialised, yes.
Okay.
I do believe. And if that's wrong, again, chat can feel free to tell me otherwise.
Shift up or down?
No upshifts or downshifts, just a regular or specialization in this case. That's not bad at all, that's an automatic success. So, Tex, you feel a lot better as a as a repair ray is used to fix your chassis, so go back to full hit points once again.
That?
Yes.
I like these low numbers, they're easy to
While
count.
that repair is going on, can Battletrack basically do a quick reconnaissance look around to try and ascertain, strategically speaking, which are the most likely routes of attack if a Decepticon or group of Decepticons would find us and start attacking us? Given that there was that explosion, Battletrack is fairly confident that we're probably not out of the woods yet.
Okay, Battletrack's best guess would obviously be coming from the road, which is where you guys just came from, which would be this south side here. There are breaches in the fence on the north, not terribly big ones, but any flying Decepticons would have an easy ability to get over the barricade. Which is why it kind of surprises you when you feel another rumbling and a patch of earth over in this direction starts to rise up from the ground, and as the dirt and earth parts, you see a drill spinning and a long tube with a drill at the end and several rugged tracks on all of its kind of cylindrical form kind of pops out of the earth and comes crashing to a stop. It then unfurls itself in the Cybertronian way that they do, and it unfurls into a four-legged Cybertronian, the likes of which you have seen before. He's wielding a rather long firearm under which is attached a very wicked-looking blade, but of primary notice. You also see that there's a strange device kind of latched onto his back with a pair of basically Tesla pylons sticking out of it. And as he emerges, he utters, "Foolish Autobots, you really surmised that I needed the humans to complete the calculations." At which point, the corpuscent energy starts to crackle up the Tesla pylons on his back, and you can start to feel like a heavy ionization in the air as this machine, whatever it is on his back, is activated. And all of a sudden, all the glowing points on this four-legged Cybertronian's body start to pulse with even brighter energy. Endless energon from the very air itself. So, it looks like he is intent on attacking you, but inside of your compartment you can hear Dr. Carlyle going, "What's going on out there?"
We are under attack. Please stay in safety.
At which point I'm going to ask you to roll initiative again as we come to our battle with Drone Master. Nice.
High numbers.
That will finish. That will cease very soon. All right then. So this this guy is stood before you, and
Fight.
it is Muldoon's go first. Now, you are currently in your bot mode, so you've got the ability to move about and do whatever in your bot mode as you wish. Oh, that
We're
is a
always
good
bot
point.
mode
This is a
now,
major
aren't we?
scene, so I can roll for even more story points for me.
Well, not. I'm currently in my alt mode because I've got the 2 people in me.
So
So
Muldoon
I'm
is...
just gonna go on a flanking maneuver.
Now, in that regard, if you want to, you can try infiltration to see if you can go without him noticing you. However, that is a standard action to sneak away and hide. But the
Stick to
benefit
normal
being,
movement.
if you do manage to hit someone who is unaware of you, you do so with an upshift. An upshift or an edge? I never did remember that. Let me check that a second.
I took infiltration and you never did it. Whoops.
Okay, 12. Very good. What are you using? Oh, that's infiltration, so it's against his alertness. Let's have a look at his alertness. Okay, Muldoon's fairly confident that he can't see Drone Master's eyes tracking him, so it looks like he's not aware of him anymore. But that was basically your standard action to hide, but you can use free actions to gain an extra 5 foot of movement.
Yeah, so do that. Take cover underneath this crane, I guess.
Yep, there's a crane, there's a big old hole. You've got various bits of cover around and bits and pieces that you can use to your advantage. But that's all that Mully can do for the moment, so if you get past your turn,
You are next.
Battletrack.
Okay. Battletrack is not infiltrating. I mean, has enough time passed that I would have reloaded the rocket launcher?
Yes, I'm gonna say yes.
Okay, in that case, free action targeting, and then standard action blast.
Okay.
Does that give me...
Now, you've got no downshift this time because you're not firing while on the move, you're grounded, so
So just one upshift.
just one upshift for aiming.
Okay.
15! Now that's a lot better. Where were these rolls before?
Well,
Okay.
my rolls were about 40.
So as the shot goes off, there's a a big kaboom as the cannon on Battletrack lets out, and there's a big explosion. But as it lands and covers Drone Master with dirt and debris, you see that as the debris and the smoke clears, Drone Master is kind of holding his arm up, and there's like a shimmering field engaged around him. So, does Battletrack want to use his move action to move anywhere? Or is he going to use it to reload his cannon ready for next turn?
If battle, this obviously would be because it's a standard action to transform. If I transform, does that affect the people inside me? Like that kind of the moving parts threaten to hurt them in any way, or?
Oh no, they would.
transform?
They would. You'd be able to drop them out safely. They'd have to disembark. Now the cage would come loose, which means that Dr. Oyama would still be in a cage, but Dr. Carlyle himself would be able to be freely taken out. Not taken out in a Robert De Niro way, you understand, but actually lifted out of your compartment and put down safely next to you.
Okay. In that case, can Battletrack... Oh, that's it.
So you got everybody.
Yeah. The Battletrack basically move to a point where you can put the cage away, basically out of basically not in direct sight of the Drone Master.
Yeah.
Next turn.
You'd have to use the standard action next turn to convert.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so you've positioned yourself, that's all you can do for now.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
It is your turn.
So, you notice as when he got hit by Battletrack's massive detonation of power, Drone Master raised his hand and there's like a field. He he kind of diverts one of his arms back behind him and starts to fiddle with the device, and then sets himself and starts striding forwards, at which point he levels his shotgun and is going to let loose a 15-foot blast. Only gets Flyby, but that's what we're aiming for. As he uses his shotgun, and we treat this as if he is using Energise. So I get an 11. Flyby's toughness is at least 13, so that is a shot and a miss from me. As Drone Master then backs the slide on his shotgun, loading up the next shot. Tex.
Tex has a plan. It's not a good plan, but it's a very convenient and standard one.
Okay.
And it involves shoot it in the head until it stops moving. As I said, it's not a very complicated plan. So,
but the simplest plans are usually the best.
Also bot mode, so I already have a rifle available.
Yes, you do. You have all your weapons now and gear now available to you now that you're in bot mode.
Yep. So, aim.
You have no downshift because you haven't moved.
I have one downshift because it's a thing, so 0. I would have had a 1 downshift on this anyway, so.
Ooh, now that's a better shot. Using sharp 2 on a 19 is a very solid hit. There's a very loud spang as the shot strikes Drone Master right in the middle of the gorget plate.
Yeehaw!
Flyby! You now have access to all your firearms.
Yes.
And you can still fly in your bot mode, so...
Yeah, but I'm not as accurate then, am I?
There is that. You can move at any point, so you can fire first and then move, is what I'm getting at.
Ah, okay.
Ineffectually, it seems, but nevertheless.
Right, what's my range on my shotgun? Is it the same as it's 15 feet?
It's got a 15-foot cone on it, if you want to capture more than one creature in, certainly. The shotgun itself does have a range of 20.
Okay.
But you can use a cone effect to try and get more than one target.
There's only one drone, isn't there?
One guy at the moment,
Right.
yes. So you can use a free action to put a weapon in your hand because you are a gunner.
Mm-hmm. Do I get any upshifts?
If you want to use a free action to aim, you get an upshift.
Easy.
No downshifts because you haven't moved.
Do I get a specialized?
I don't think you do.
Okay, that's fine.
Oh, it was an 18 and rolled over onto 4. So again, very inaccurate shot with the shotgun, same as this guy. So both Flyby and the Drone Master are exchanging shot blasts at the moment. No one managing to hit the other. Does Flyby want to move, or is Flyby all right where he is?
I'm gonna move to.
Do you need me to roll it back to your turn again, or nope? You're fine.
No, I just want to move 5 feet. That's all.
That darts off to one side. Muldoon. Okay, so attacking a target you are hidden from. It says in the book that when a combatant can't see you, you gain an edge. So you actually get to roll 2d20 and keep the highest. So your attack goes with edge if you're attacking a character that is unaware of you. Not an upshift like I believed.
But I can upshift from aim.
Yes, indeed. So you can add both. Oh, it was a 20 and it rolled over onto an 8. But you got a 16, which was a 19 overall, which means that is a definite hit, doing a point. Which means you catch him. At which point there's another bang and spark as his chassis comes apart near his shoulder plate. And he looks to one side trying to see where he was just shot from. And because you had to use your standard action to actually shoot, it means that he can see where Muldoon is, but you can always hide on your next turn. And he has a multitude of targets now. So, that was Muldoon. Using any of your free actions to do anything else?
Nothing.
Cool. Pass it over, please.
Make ready. Your turn comes.
Okay, so it's Battletrack's turn, so he was going to shift into his bot mode.
Tended to, but this guy looks like he's badly damaged. So I'm thinking if I pause on that, if we can take him down without me shifting to the bot mode, then we might still be able to win this without revealing ourselves to the humans, which was one of our orders to try and avoid if possible. So in that case, I might just make an aim and make another go with the rocket launcher.
Okay.
Okay, aiming for a shift, an upshift.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, and...
Ooh, but the
damn.
good news is, because your skill dice was a d4 and you rolled a 4 on a d4, that's actually a critical.
Oh, cool.
So
That
you
means
don't
it still
get
hits.
criticals from rolling a d20 on the dice, you get a critical from rolling the highest number on your skill dice, as long as that skill dice is not a d2. So in this case, this was a success. So when you do a critical, you can do a number of things, but for the most part you can add an extra point of damage on if you really want to, or achieve some other kind of effect. But for this, we'll just assume it was a double damage shot, yeah?
Yep, go for that.
Boom! Big old massive kaboom. Now I am going to mark out the crater here that happens because Battletrack's cannon, rocket launcher, has got what do they call it again? Wrecker? Wrecker as a trait, which means that the area around where you hit is now difficult terrain because you've wrecked that entire area. What happens is this. So the ground explodes and there's a load of sparks that come off of Drone Master. But then, to your surprise, you see that the device on his back surges with more corpuscent power, and his systems seem to keep boosting with more power, and he just picks himself up. Foolish Autobots! I have infinite energon, which means I cannot be stopped. Does Battletrack want to use his movement action to reload his cannon? Or do something else?
No, I think, can I use my movement action to drop the cage and get Carlisle out? Because I think next turn I might have to transform and basically start muscling on him if he starts throwing out more chicks. So
Alrighty.
One of my purposes is to be a damage blocker.
Alright, so that's that. You've taken those two have been deposited. As soon as Carlisle lands and looks around, he notices there are robots here. He's very much a case of, oh my! What is... You're robots too!
Do not be alarmed. Your safety is our priority.
He looks at the tank that just spoke to him. Wait! That means you're one as well! Alright, so now we
It's
move on
your
to
turn.
Drone Master, who is staggering a bit, but he's still surging with power. He holds out one of his hands, and there's a flash of energon blue that then starts to coalesce into a more distinct form. And as you watch, you realise he has formed a grenade.
He's copied your idea, Tex. Oh crap!
So he flings a grenade.
Well.
Now I have to check the what's it called? The area of effect of this. It is a 10-foot radius blast. So I've got this down. He's aiming for in between you two. A 10-foot radius blast will definitely get you both. He rolled 14, which means Pex is okay because his evasion, thankfully, is 50. Flyby likewise has got an evasion of 17, so you both avoid taking damage. But a massive detonation of whatever goes on by there, and Drone Master starts skulking away at speed. Dunk, 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 scuttling away on his legs.
You're running away from me! Brilliant!
Alright, Tex,
Let's
your
aim at
turn.
the thing on his back. So,
If you're going to be trying to aim for a very small spot on, I say very small, he's a big machine, and the device actually does take up most of his back. But if you are going to be trying to aim for a specific point on Drone Master, then I'm going to say you're going to be rolling with a snag.
okay.
Don't forget, you do have energon points you can spend if you really want to.
Right.
As
Go
well
on
as
then.
free actions.
Standard shots. I'm going to aim. Just going to bump that by 1. I'll spend an energon point. That bumps up to 1 more.
Yep.
And I get a snag. Okay. Take this to the back.
Alright. That was a 4, so I'm afraid that shot does go rather wild.
Can we... even if that got a 10, that would count as not a lot.
I'm afraid not.
Ow!
So even though you did roll with keep the highest, you didn't roll enough to...
No,
That was
it
keep
was
lowest,
snag,
wasn't it? It
keeps
was a 1.
lowest.
You did
Even
roll
my
a-
highest was a 5.
That was a bad roll. Sorry.
These dice don't like us today.
They really don't. Flyby! Now, luckily for you, you can fly. So the difficult terrain here doesn't matter too much to you. You can just fly over it.
So, can I land here
Absolutely you can.
and shoot him?
You can definitely try.
Okay.
Now, that is a good point. Firing at somebody when you are very close to them. Hidden attackers, cover, attack classification, size class, situational modifiers. Let's ignore it. Let's just go for regular old shooty bang bang fire. Let him have it at close range.
Can I have a shift up on this or no?
If you want to spend a free action to aim, then you can get an upshift, absolutely. If you want to spend an energon point, you can get another upshift. Ooh, not bad. Not great, I'm afraid, but not bad. That one, I'm afraid, does not manage to get past his armor. There is some kind of sparkling energy field going on around him, which is helping him with his protection. And Flyby, being as close as he is, notices that the power that's crackling up and down these like Tesla pylons on Drone Master's back seem to be feeding power into him, so that when you go to hit him or shoot him, he seems to channel it into like a force field of some kind. Which is...
So,
yeah.
Could I tell the others to target that?
Well, you know, Tex was trying, so you can certainly offer it to everybody else.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's now Muldoon's turn again. So This guy is still on his feet, even though he shouldn't be. At this point, as well as Muldoon going, I'm going to have Dr. Carlyle, who's now been dropped off outside of Battletrack, going, "This is what I was talking about. I hadn't finished the calculations yet. That drone master was disinterested in every time I was telling him about the error in the code. He's using it to power himself somehow. But if you keep hitting him with different types of energy weapons or different types of attacks, the device on his back has to try and reconfigure itself each time to draw different types of energy to protect him. Every time that happens, it introduces a higher and higher probability that there will be a recursive error introduced into the code and the device could shut down." Hypothetical, of course, but... well, at the moment, that creature, that drone master, is just... he's got an unlimited supply of energy.
Anyone got anything that isn't ballistic?
I got a clever weapon.
I've got claws.
Yeah.
I'm not close
It's
enough.
a rifle.
for that.
So, yep, you've
did
just...
you say we
you've...
can use
Go on.
Energon to power up a gunshot?
Yeah, it gives you a an upshift to it as well.
Yeah. So I'll use Energon and hit him with Energon energy.
Alrighty.
Who's doing
Oh, there we are, a 6. So you got a critical. So that is a hell of a shot. It comes in, sparks and spangs off of the device, the transducer. And as it does, Drone Master's there with one of his smaller arms and is furiously fiddling at it now. Stabilize! Stabilize! The thing is starting to seriously shower sparks now. Muldoon shot. Muldoon is moving. Okay.
Listen to hit him next time. So what is it?
Alright.
Make ready. Your turn
Battletrack.
comes.
What I meant to do. And all that. Trying to... Am I...
Yes.
Risk 3 rough measure distance. Am I 45 feet away from him?
Looks like.
Okay. In that case, because it'd be either moving up and transforming, which basically means a non-attack, but what I'm thinking is, save the translation next turn, hitting him with, trying to see if just a powerful kinetic energy attack will be enough to cause a shift. Or to put it another way, ramming speed!
Ramming speed it shall be, so yep. Roll up and use your ram attack. Should do blunt 1, so you've changed the attack type.
Yep. I think I can't target on this to get a shift, can I?
Not really.
Well, it's worth a try.
It rolled back to a 14, which gives you a 15.
Yep.
Which is... yep, that'll do. Over evasion.
Battletrack ramming speed!
So it's got multiple legs, and as such is a bit more stable, but still getting whacked into by a tank is something else, so he crumples. But then he slowly, jerkily gets back to all 4 feet as he's there loosing fountains of sparks. And the Energon energy is still pulsing in him as it's just basically keeping him up when he shouldn't be. In that regard, it is Drone Master's turn, and he's there just kind of shaking back and forth. I'm going to let Tex and Flyby take 1 more action each before I take Drone Master's go. So, Tex.
Okay. Right. I'm going to try something stupid.
The best type of actions.
Because this is possible, if not advisable. So let's just double check something.
You do have 2 story points if you want to use one of them.
I might need to. Okay. Right, so I'm lobbing a concussion grenade at him.
Ooh, okay.
Because that's stun damage, that's different again.
Yes, it is.
I'm going to aim,
Okay.
knocking one of the shift downs on there. What happens if I run out of energon?
You just can't use Energon anymore for anything.
Oh, let's use up one of those as well. Story point to specialize?
Sure.
Go on, let's use up one then. Flyby's got one more. And lob it.
15 looks like a hit to me. Yep. His evasion's not high enough. Ba-boom! A concussion grenade goes off, which does cause some of the foundation and other supports around here to start crumble and tumble. But yeah, Drone Master staggers backwards and forwards now as the device on his back is now starting to throw out loads of heavy red sparks as it's furiously trying to reconvert the different energy types coming at it. Which means we are now left with Flyby. So we've had Sharp, we've had Blunt, we've had Stun. Is there another type of shot we can give this guy? Unless you just want to open up with your shotgun.
I think that's probably the best option. Oh, no, I was going to say butt strike would be a blunt object, wouldn't it?
Would be the blunt weapon, yes.
No, it's fine. No, shoot him. Let's shoot him.
Okay, there's 1 story point left. You may as well use it, and if you've got any energon points, you can throw them in there too. So roll with specialization as well. That wasn't terribly good, I'm afraid.
Oh, I didn't put specialization.
You didn't, so try that again, please.
Okay.
We'll ignore that. And we'll try it again because you didn't put specialization in.
Practice
You saw,
show.
it didn't. You saw
Exactly.
Also...
Yeah, I didn't. I only saw 1 dice. I should have seen more. So try. That's more like it. And I see a 4, which means you got a critical.
Hey.
One of the skill dice rolled its top dice, so you basically unload, you pump blam, pump blam, pump blam, pump blam, and eventually the scatter shot is overwhelmed with all the other shots the ramming attack coming in, overwhelms the shield. And Drone Master staggers backwards. Foolish Autobots, I cannot be... And then the entire unit on his back starts to spark and surge. And as all of a sudden it's drawing in so much energy, and the glowing parts of Drone Master's body are starting to glow and glow brighter even still, and he starts to fumble at the back of his the device. No, wait, I can, oh shit. And then boom! Drone Master explodes.
Hydro Master.
And the only thing left of him now is his head kind of rolling gently backwards and forwards as the rest of him is scattered around a wide area.
Okay.
Swivel round.
Hologram on.
Can I swivel around and slowly back my treads over his head?
Absolutely. Wow.
Percentage of the Decepticon left intact, calculated at 5%. This is not acceptable. Reverse. Crunch.
Okay.
Percentage of Decepticon left intact, 0%. These parameters are acceptable.
So yes, you've essentially discovered who was responsible for what was going on at Hybrid Technologies. You have defeated the Decepticons, including Drone Master himself, from pulling off whatever it was they were intending to do. With the demise of Drone Master, those humans who were put under mental control find it relieved, and they are a bit confused. Nonetheless, Dr. Carlyle is able to respect your Autobots' need to maintain secrecy, and he just states that nobody would probably believe him anyway. So he'll happily keep this secret about there being transforming sentient robots on Earth to himself. But thankfully, the rest of the humans who were droned, and of course Dr. Oyama herself, all remain entirely oblivious as to what happened. So the situation resolves itself. The four of you have effectively proven your worth to the Autobots and showed how adaptive you can be in overcoming obstacles, and you also stopped a rather heinous plot from the Decepticons in trying to gain an unlimited amount of energon. So well done. And it seems, unfortunately, as a consequence, that this energy transducer is not stable enough to be used as an alternative energy source. So it definitely needs to go back to the drawing board a bit, because it has quite explosive possibilities if and when it goes wrong. So, unless there's anything else you go. So what was that, Andy?
That's a yet. It doesn't mean it's not going to work.
Exactly. One day it might. It just needs a little bit of extra attention to.
Little tweak here, little tweak there.
Maybe, who knows, you'll be able to help them out with this one day. But that is not this day. This day we have come to the end of our little adventure. And I'm just going to segue off into a little semi-epilogue here. As all of you trundle off to take the humans back to where they need to safely be deposited. And the Autobots go off back to the Ark in order to report back to Optimus Prime, in order to report mission success. Not long afterwards, we pan camera-wise back to the destruction left in the construction site, and we are drawn in on a close shot, seeing the crushed remnants of Drone Master's head. And there's the barest flicker of malevolent green light in one of the still barely intact eye sockets. And we hear a crunching, heavy series of footfalls as a quadrupedal Cybertronian marches himself up to the scattered remains of Drone Master. A hand reaches down and picks up the eyeball, and we see that this is a Cybertronian very similar in design to Drone Master, just much bigger. He stares at the small eye of Drone Master and seems to exchange bursts of information, at which point the larger Drone Master crushes the eye in his iron fist, turns towards the camera and just snarls, "Autobots." That's where we will end our episode. Thank you very much to my players who endured that craziness, especially after we ended up rolling a phenomenal amount of low rolls. But we got there in the end.
It was fun.
So yeah,
Good.
I hope you all had fun.
Thank you very much,
The system is fairly simple and nice to use. I like it, and it has a good degree of adaptability to it, which is obviously shows in the fact that you can combine G.I. Joe with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers with Transformers, just with subtle alterations here and there in order to accommodate the differences. So yes, I liked it. I very much enjoyed it, and you guys seem to enjoy it too.
Yep.
I
It was
like
a
the
lot of
dice
fun.
roll system for this one.
But yeah.
It's nicely different.
Very nice, but not complicated.
Yep.
Very good. So thank you very much to the guys at Renegade Game Studios who gave me the chance to show this off and gave us the chance to play it for a Renegade Gaming Weekend. Even though the weekend started on Thursday, so it was the best type of weekend. It was a 4-day weekend. So thank you very much to my players for helping me showcase Transformers RPG, and who knows, we might come back to playing this again at some later point.
Absolutely.
But to that.
In the meantime, to my fellow Autobots, I would like to say, well, thanks for tuning in, and see you next time. And that to remember that freedom is the right of all sentient beings. Until then, roll out. Thank you, guys.